everybody. Uh, another show, and this time not just predictions from us, but be doing a little talk later on regarding the BAFTA Longlist and some interesting things that showed up and didn't show up in there. Although some of the things that the press are saying is snubs, I think they clearly never saw the films. But anyway, uh, I'm Ashley. That's AJ. That's Owen below me, and let's roll into these Critics' Choice Award predictions and all that.
All 50,000 categories with more than 5 slots each.
Dear God, these predictions, trying to finish them took me 3.5 hours to try to figure it out. I'm probably still going to lose, so we'll see how that works out.
Well, if you thought the Globes were random, we've got, 6 supporting categories in TV alone?
Aren't these some categories that have just been brought up this year for the first time, too?
I think these are all the same. BAFTA has some new categories, or a new category.
Yeah,
but
BAFTA has adjusted, but I don't think anything else has.
It just seems like they add more every year because there's so fucking many.
Well, there's also they don't have a clickable link on Wiki that tells me that there's not a precedent beforehand that would be nominated because the award just started this year. Who knows?
And they switched networks, and probably that won't change the fact that they still don't air most of these anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, this is the Let's Watch Wikipedia Awards.
It's like the year the Globes were exclusively on Twitter. It's basically that, you can find them to watch them, but whether that's worth it to you or not. Chelsea Handler's usually a pretty good host, I think, but apart from that, you're not going to see most of what's here. So, and it's not like the BAFTAs where they do the ceremony and then edit it. They just say, oh, by the way, here's your thing. Yeah, I will mention it every year, even though we're 14 years or 12 years out. Still bitter about the whole let's give Tony Kushner a Critics' Choice Award and then take it away from him because we ran out of trophies.
Yeah, that sucked. This is the year of bitterness, honestly, and it's justifiable in every way possible.
Yeah, if you're coming here for the first time, I have beef. I have personal beef with one of these movies, and you're probably gonna think why do you hate that movie? It's so amazing. I think we determined it's the hour 20 mark of our Golden Globes predictions video. I go into that whole thing. So if you're wondering why do you hate that movie so much, that's why.
There'll be a nice reminder during the nominations morning that you may have to blink and you miss potentially for reactions.
It'll be something, I'm sure.
Yes, it will.
All right, let's go down all the way down to the bottom of this Critics' Choice list and work our way up.
Okay.
So I guess we're going to start with Comedy Special.
That's what I got.
We've got Ali Wong, Jim Gaffigan, Kevin James, Nikki Glaser, Rachel Bloom, Ramin Youssef. I didn't write these down yet, so I'm just saying them, but I think I decided most of them. Only 3 of these repeat from the Globes. The 2 biggest names for the Globes aren't here, weirdly enough. I'm gonna just stick with my Ali Wong thing. I pulled that out of my ass at the Globes and it worked out, so I'm just gonna stick with it.
Okay. Ashley, what do you got?
I'll go with Nikki Glaser on this one. I feel that this is one that is going to be not dwelled upon. It will just be also so. It could go. I have it between her and maybe Rami. But I'll go with Nikki Glaser on this one for a change.
Although I did get to see that wonderful trailer for Rami's new movie, Rami Malek's new movie, another Rami, The Amateur, last night, which I wanted to segue into that because that trailer looks really fun, especially because it's like Bourne, but not. It makes perfect sense that it'd be Ali Wong versus Nikki Glaser, and I did go one way before, and it bit me in the behind. So I don't want that to happen again, and you're going to hear me say that a whole lot tonight because I'm not going to let that happen again. I'm also going to go with Ali Wong.
Okay. That typing's really loud.
Dramatic typing.
For a talk show, we have The Daily Show, Graham Norton, Hot Ones, John Mulaney, Kelly Clarkson, and Stephen Colbert. I usually watch all of John Mulaney's stuff. I actually haven't watched this, but I'm sure it's amazing if it's Mulaney. I would say personally, I would narrow it down to Graham Norton and Hot Ones, which I'm assuming is what anybody else would probably narrow it down to.
Okay.
And based on popularity, I'm just going to go with Hot Ones.
Ashley?
Ooh, I think with this one I might go with Daily Show. But Hot Ones is seeming like it does feel like it's the open goal that I'm purposefully missing. I don't know.
This is Holland's first time here, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's the first time that YouTube's been recognised in Best Talk Show. So.
Well, this is when me actually looking into things comes into play. There's no John Oliver here, which means there's no juggernaut that's going to beat everybody. Kelly Clarkson has been nominated many times but has never won anything. And John Mulaney seems to be somebody that everybody takes a lot of stock in, and it's a good possibility that could win. But I feel like if they're going to go with a talk show, they're going to go with an actual talk show, not a one-time only thing. So yeah, the only thing that comes to my mind is exactly the same thing, which is hilarious because AJ and I haven't seen each other's predictions, and this was always my answer. Since it seems to be literally the new hotness now, I'm going also with Hot Ones.
It's funny is it's not even new hotness. It's been hot since like 2017.
It seems like it's getting a lot more relevancy now. I seem to see a lot more about it as the years are going by, especially these last years.
Their breakout episode was the Key and Peele one, which would have been back in 2016 because they were promoting Keanu. So that's been they're going on 10 years almost.
Oh yeah. By the way, if you're listening, Hot Ones, get Matt Pat on the show. Let's go.
Foreign language series.
Oh God.
Yeah, Acapulco, Citadel, Honey Bunny. I assume that's about Amanda Plummer.
It should be.
La Machina, The Law According to Lydia Poet, My Brilliant Friend, Pachinko, Senna, and Squid Game. I'm just going to default to the whole reason they made this category, Squid Game.
Ashley, do you concur?
Yeah, considering the buzz it had over the last, since directly after Christmas. Wow, even before Christmas, because apparently they let everybody see it, obviously way before, so then these nominations could get in. But the fact that arguably it's got more acclaim than Series 1 had. And as I said to my buddies and everything, if that's what happens when somebody is given money to do a second series and basically said that they only did it for the money, this puts pressure on every other TV series to deliver a second series that's as good as this and not just do it for the money. So
that's fair. So there's two other options here just by looking at what else got nominated. Senna jumped out at me immediately, but I quickly said, no, that's not a thing. And Pachinko was nominated a few times, so I thought about that. But no, like AJ said, this award was meant to happen because of Squid Game, and that's the reason why it's going to
win. This one is less obvious.
Yeah.
For animated series, we have Batman, Caped Crusader, Bluey, Bob's Burgers, Invincible, The Simpsons, and X-Men '97. I've heard great things about like all of these, except that Batman thing, which I might just be learning about for the first time.
That's fair.
Bluey is like really universal, it seems.
Yep.
Like I said, all these other things I've just heard amazing things about. Even though it's 2025 now, there's been the last few years or so has been like everybody's so fucking obsessed with The Simpsons again. It's like
Yeah.
I can't turn anywhere without somebody referencing the goddamn fucking Simpsons. And I
It's
know
generational now. Even if you're not a fan, you still reference it in like memes and social media.
The fact
Jesus
that the
Christ.
writing has been more hit and miss this season than any season really in the last decade. It's weird to say because the whole thing is, oh, you know, it's not as good as the old stuff, and it's like maybe, you know, maybe the cattle prod worked this time and they're actually producing some good material and some good parodies and whatever for a change.
Yeah, so I'm tempted to say a number of these.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my first instinct was Bluey because Bluey, like I said, just seems to have universal love around it. But I'll just go. I'll go with The Simpsons, I guess.
Okay. Ashley.
Oh, Batman Cape Crusader is very good, but I feel for only, I think it's 6 or 8 episodes. It's a bit short. So it's either X-Men. To me, it's either X-Men '97 or Invincible, because they've been very well received. X-Men '97 has maybe some controversy over it because of one of the directors and whatever being involved, and some production scandals and whatever, or made up stuff. That isn't putting me off. You know, I'm not saying that isn't why it's not going to win, because I could see it doing so. But I'm gonna go with Invincible because, from what I'm aware, despite how good season 1 was, it never actually got nominated. I believe a few years back and whatever.
Nope.
And the fact that Bluey hasn't won all the other time. I've been Bluey, I think, every single year of the last 3 years that this category's been around, and I'm not falling for that bloomin' dog. For a change. Watch it then be the dog. Damn it.
So it's funny you mention that, AJ. Simpsons actually is 0 for 9. But it's not the worst, because that goes to Bob's Burgers, which is 0 for 11.
Yeah.
Like alluded to a minute ago, Bluey has lost 4 times. So it may seem like it's time to finally reward it, given the fact that it's literally everywhere now that Disney's got its hands on it. God knows what's about to happen with the theme park world. But yeah, again, we have no way of seeing each other's predictions. It's not like I could like pull up Gold Derby and like, there you go. Nope, that's not how this works. I don't know anything about controversy, or do I care? Because I don't know anything about TV. So needless to say, I'm just going to stick with what I thought about all along. It's something I've been hearing about all year long, last year, and I feel that it's the right answer. I'm going with X-Men '97.
Yeah. I mean, it's harsh to say that Bob's Burgers is the odd one out of that list. So I haven't seen any sort of mega positive stuff for Bob's Burgers.
It's literally going to lose for its dozenth time next Sunday night if it loses.
I guess this would be a good time to note that I'm still getting over being sick and have a headache, so apologies if I'm a little aggressive.
I think that might be part of the reason why you were overwhelmed by the sound of my typing, because I'm sure it probably doesn't help your headache.
It could be.
My apologies. Well, I literally have the phone right next to the keyboard, so it's not like it's far away. So my apologies for that.
And as stated, we've got so much to go through.
Yeah.
We also have a live chat as well, which I literally have no access to right now. So anybody that's in chat, I can't see anything you guys have right now. So
Oh, cheers, bro.
Okay. So we're in the mini series portion now.
apparently.
We have all 4 acting categories for just miniseries. So, are we ready?
Let's get this over with.
For supporting actress, we have Dakota Fanning for Ripley, Layla George for Disclaimer, Betty Gilpin for Three Women, Jessica Gunning for Baby Reindeer, Deidre O'Connell for The Penguin, and Kaylee Reese for True Detective. I don't know if it's just the Globes' momentum or what, or that clip we saw, and me learning more about what exactly the show is and what this particular role is. I'm going to go with a repeat for Jessica Gunning. By the way, we didn't mention during the Globes video that she apparently said that one of her big inspirations was Kathy Bates in Misery, and Kathy Bates was one of her presenters. That was pretty cool.
That is cool, actually. Ashley.
Yeah. Just because it's the only thing that really stands out as sort of something that would have at least had international acclaim from what I was hearing, I'm going with Gunning as well.
Yeah, there's really no reason to deviate from that. I could go Dakota Fanning hoping that I could win this time around. Kaylee Reese comes out as a possible chance too. But yeah, at the end of the day, it makes more sense that, I guess it's recency bias, I'm also going to go with Jessica Gunning for Baby Reindeer.
Supporting actor, we have Robert Downey Jr. for The Sympathizer, Hugh Grant for The Regime, Ron Cephas-Jones for Genius, Logan Lerman for We Were the Lucky Ones, Liev Schreiber for The Perfect Couple, and Treat Williams for Feud. With Ron Cephas-Jones and Treat Williams, we have 2 posthumous nominations here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm gonna just default to the easiest choice. I'm gonna say Downey, especially since it appears he's playing a lot of characters, like according to this list. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he'll always be a popular choice. So.
Ashley.
Yeah. Well, the way they did that trailer very much akin to when Mike Myers did the series a year or 2 back, where it was like Mike Myers and Mike Myers and Mike Myers. The amount of roles that he plays is kind of ridiculous, and I just feel I'm sort of going with that just because of the numbers, as opposed to whether it's any good, because I haven't really heard that much about the other stuff. I don't remember Hugh Grant being in The Regime. I've just seen Hugh Grant and Heretic and everything. So, yeah. The Junior.
Yeah, it's easy just to follow along like everyone else, but I had a different path in mind. Again, when it comes to television, I'm just trying to take the little tidbits I have from previous years and try to play the odds game. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's probably going to fail really bad for me tonight, but we'll see what happens. So the only name that popped out to me immediately was Hugh Grant for The Regime.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I don't know why, and now I say this, I'm starting to discredit what I just said. Logan Lerman comes to mind too. I don't know why. I can imagine that being a thing, but I'm going to go with Hugh Grant because he's not winning for Heretic. So maybe it's possible he's going to win for TV.
All right. Actress. We have Kate Blanchett for A Disclaimer, Jodie Foster for True Detective, Jessica Lange for The Great Lillian Hall, Kristen Milioti for The Penguin, Phoebe Ray-Taylor for Out of My Mind, and Naomi Watts for Feud. So Jodie Foster surprised us at the Globes, but I'm gonna stick with my previous choice still of Kristen Milioti here.
Yeah, I'm doing the same. I think the amount of buzz that it's getting there, I feel that Hollywood Foreign Press, well, it's not Hollywood Foreign Press, but people that aren't Hollywood Foreign Press might skew more towards Kristen's performance.
Well, it's interesting because there's a lot of options you can go with. Milioti seems to be the most obvious one, and that's the one I did go with. But there's reasons for Blanchett, who hasn't been nominated since 2021. Jessica Lange won for Coven, and was nominated for a feud for Betty versus Joan the same year that Naomi was nominated for Capote versus Swan. So I thought that was interesting. That feud's nominated in 2 different years for different performances. I know that's a kind of a tidbit that's like one of those nah situations, but still makes sense in my head. Yeah, again, it feels like it would be a good idea to go with Jodie Foster here because obviously there's love. I see you, Naiad. Needless to say, yeah, Kristen Milioti. It might be a really good night for the Penguin.
Speaking of.
Exactly. Did anyone not say?
For actor, we got Colin Farrell for The Penguin, Richard Gad for Baby Reindeer, Tom Hollander for Feud, Kevin Kline for Disclaimer, Ewan McGregor for A Gentleman in Moscow, and Andrew Scott for Ripley. I wouldn't fault anybody for going with Richard Gad.
I thought about it.
I'm gonna stick with Colin Farrell. I assume most people would. So.
Ashley?
Yeah, I feel Gad will be getting his Critics' Choice via a different means. So yeah, I'm going Farrell.
Yeah, it seems like Farrell's pretty much a lock at this point. Weirdly enough, Kevin Kline's the one that comes out at me strangely, as a possibility. I don't know how they took to Disclaimer though, but it's heavily nominated, so I mean that's a good possibility. Yeah, Gad's a good shout, and I always love seeing Ewan get nominated for things. But yeah, Colin Farrell.
All right, TV movie.
This is not easy at all.
This is one thing I actually like about Critics' Choice, where because miniseries always takes over this category, usually the fact that they separated just the TV movies is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
We've got The Great Lillian Hall, It's What's Inside, Musica, Out of My Mind, Rebel Ridge, and VHS Beyond. I actually didn't see any of these. I had plans to see a few of them as like a I'll get to that eventually sort of thing.
Of course.
The Great Lillian Hall is the only one that has like another nomination. I heard so many great things about Rebel Ridge, and that was the one I'm most like, I need to get around to that. Because that director is acclaimed. I haven't taken to him the way other people have. He's the guy that did Blue Ruin and Green Room and that Jeffrey Wright movie that didn't really fit the mold of the other two. Hold the Dark, I think it was called. And I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with that, even though it would be like, oh, they nominated Lang, so you would think The Great Lillian Hall. But I'm gonna say Rebel Ridge.
Ashley?
Let's take a pin a tail on a donkey and see where it goes with the blindfold.
Oh, no.
Let's say music. Let's say Musica. I did hear pretty good things about that. Also, because the weird thing is, it's produced by McG. So let's see McG win a Critics' Choice Award and justify his career, because
I happen to think McG is a little underrated because his movies are a lot of fun. Most
he made
of them.
Uglies. He's overrated.
Wow.
I will back up that his Charlie's Angels movies are a lot of fun, and This Means War is a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely agree with both of those, actually. So AJ mentioned how the Great Lillian Hall was the one that was jumping out, and Out of My Mind is also double nominated too, because it's also in the actress category too.
Oh,
So
wow.
I took that into account too. When you're staring at a screen for 3 hours, you have time to do these things. On and off for 3 hours. Obviously, I couldn't do it for 3 hours because reasons. But needless to say, I was staring on and off, so it was fine. I wanted to go with VHS, but I think it's the outlier here. It's the one that doesn't feel like it fits. So that's exactly the reason why you give it to it the year that they're going to credit a movie like The Substance or give nominations to like Nosferatu. Like, it's really great year for horror, and it's actually going to get potential nominations for a lot of things this year. But the first thing that jumped to my mind was The Great Lillian Hall, and I'm going to stick with it.
I loved the first VHS so
I
much.
did too.
I've watched it numerous times. I actually stopped watching the VHS series because they started sucking, so I don't know if they got better. But maybe someday I'll find out. Because obviously I love the horror anthology thing, so I should give it a try at least. But
spoiler alert, VHS retrospective coming to a Halloween Horror Night season somewhere in the next couple of years.
Probably eventually, yeah.
Would not surprise me one bit.
I always feel as well that never doubt H, because I've looked into it. That is the traditional. Is it Memorial Day, the holiday in May?
What are you talking about?
Or is it Labor Day? The HBO thing was released at the end of May.
Labor Day is September 5th.
Okay, whichever one May is. The May sort of federal holiday. It's the window behind the candelabra came out in and everything.
Okay.
It's always sort of. It seems like I think the Wizard of Lies that won a few years back came out that same window as well. It's like where they stick their. Yeah, this is the one that we want awards recognition for.
All right.
When Owen's horse clops on by, we will do minis. That's when I have Wikipedia up and I can't see you. That's what I see in my head. It's just a horse going by. Okay.
Absolutely.
For miniseries, we have Baby Reindeer, Disclaimer, Masters of the Air, Mr. Bates versus the Post Office.
Hell yeah.
The Penguin, Ripley, True Detective, and We Were the Lucky Ones. I was gonna say if it was really early in the year, I would say Masters of the Air would be a total possibility. But Baby Reindeer was not long after Masters of the Air, right? It was like maybe a month after it ended. But with all that said, even though I feel like those are still possibilities, I'm just gonna go with the Penguin, I think. What I basically was gonna try what I tried at the Globes that didn't pan out completely, I'm just gonna give another go.
Smart move. What do you got, Ashley?
Yeah, I'm gonna. If they go that British skew and say Mr. Bates versus the Post Office, that'd be crazy. Mainly because it's sort of the drama that made people aware of the situation more so and actually got like progress on all these people that got screwed by the post office for faulty computer equipment and everything. But I'm sticking with Penguin as well, considering how it's probably the last that we're seeing. I mean, I guess it depends how well Matt Reeves' Batman 2 does.
We got a while for that one, sadly.
You know, because I feel that considering that is, I believe, considered a separate universe from what James Gunn's planning, I don't know, how long it can exist.
So it's really no reason to not, at this point, just straight up just say the Penguin.
That's what you're going to do?
That's exactly what I'm going to say. I mean, there's really no reason to go anything else. I mean, it honestly could be Baby Reindeer, but I feel that it's going to be a good night for the Penguin.
We'll see.
We shall see.
All right. Now we're on to the block of comedy.
Yes.
All right. For supporting actress, we have Liza Collins-Zayas for The Bear, Hannah Einbinder for Hacks, Janelle James for Abbott Elementary, Stephanie Koenig for English Teacher, Patty LaPone for Agatha All Along, and Annie Potts for Young Sheldon. Again, I'm just going to stick with my Globe's choice, even though it didn't pan out at the time, of Hannah Einbinder.
Ashley.
I'm going to go with Annie Potts. Because whether they want to throw some sort of chick into Young Sheldon, considering, there weren't any more showing up. This feels wide open, because I haven't really heard a lot about any of these performances.
It's funny because we always talk about the juggernaut that is Abbott Elementary. And it felt like for a long time that Cheryl Lee Ralph was the one that was like always showing up. And when I actually did my research, not as much as you would think. And the interesting thing about that is for me, it's hard to not go with the English Teacher for reasons. But, it makes sense to go with the fact that the last time that Einbinder was nominated, she lost to Hannah Waddingham. So I feel it's time to give more love to Hacks, and I feel that that's going to be where they're going to go this time around. No Ted Lasso now, so I mean, competition's gone.
It's funny that there's two characters named Ava. I'm just noticing that. Supporting actor.
Yes.
We have Paul W. Downs for Hacks, Asher Grodman for Ghosts, Harvey Guillen for What We Do in the Shadows, Brandon Scott Jones for Ghosts, Michael Urie for Shrinking, and Tyler James Williams for Abbott Elementary. I feel like it could be any of them, and my mind, for some reason, zoned in on Harvey Guillen, so that's what I'm going to go with.
Ashley?
Let's say Brandon Scott Jones for Ghosts. I know it's the American series and it's still going, but the fact that it's got at least a couple of noms in here. I was going to try and fall down the trap of, well, not say a trap, but go for maybe the easy choice in Tyler James Williams just because of previous and stuff. But yeah, let's go with one of the Ghost people, and I went with Scott Jones because I think as the captain, he's that figure from the British one. I haven't seen enough of the US one to fully know.
So, looking at this list, and I see the people that were nominated previously in previous years, the thing that jumps out at me immediately is that Harrison Ford's not here.
Mm-hmm.
So, in my mind, the fact that Harrison Ford is not here tells me that Michael Urie is better overall and more nominatable, to create that word today. So I'm going to go with Michael Urie for Shrinking.
Okay. And then actress?
Yes.
We have Kristen Bell for Nobody Wants This, Quinta Brunson for Abbott Elementary, Natasha Dimitri for What We Do in the Shadows, Bridget Everett for Somebody Somewhere, Jean Smart for Hacks, and Kristen Wiig for Palm Royale. This is another one where I actually kind of feel like it could be just about any of them.
Yeah.
The safe choices are Jean Smart or Quinta Brunson, I guess.
That would be correct.
I'll go with, I said Einbinder. I guess I'll stick with it and say Jean Smart again. That one actually did pay off for me at the Globes, but like I said, I feel like it could honestly be just about any of these.
Yeah, I will stick with Jean Smart as well.
Yeah, it seems to be the best answer at this point. Jean Smart.
And actor.
Yes.
You know, I was laughing when I made that horse comment. You know why? When I hear that, the first thing I see is Kramer in his top hat, and so that's what image is jumping in my head when I hear you typing. So that's why it's so funny to me.
That's funny.
Okay, we have Brian Jordan Alvarez for English Teacher, Adam Brody for Nobody Wants This, David Allen Greer for St. Denis Medical, Steve Martin for Only Murders in the Building, Kevin Novak for What We Do in the Shadows, and Martin Short for Only Murders in the Building. I actually first gravitated towards Martin Short, but I think I'm going to go with Novak, actually. I'm going to double up on What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah, again, because it's the end of the series and they're not doing any more, I will say Novak as well. Martin and Short, not the one guy. I mean the two of them. Stephen Martin of balls. I can't do it. Damn it, Steve Martin Short. They'll battle over it. You know, Star Trek, William Shatner versus the Gorn style next year.
Tough stuff, no refunds. Anyway, so yeah, well, first off, Ashley knows what I'm going to say before I even say it. Dude's name is literally Brian Alvarez. How do I not go for him? That's exactly what I wrote in my notes too. No Jeremy Allen White here.
Well, that's the thing I was going to mention, because we're going to get to obviously series now. The Bear didn't even show up in any of the categories.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was supporting actress.
Oh, right, but not
credit.
Not the supporting actress.
Literally,
you think.
that's it. That's all.
None of the other major cast did, and for something that's still got an 89% at least on Rotten Tomatoes, I feel it's a bit harsh that it's missed out.
So it's funny because poor Marty Short's only been nominated in 2022. And Steve Martin's been nominated every year since 2022. And neither of them have won. Novak got nominated in 22 and 24, but he's not won. I didn't realize that What We Do in the Shadows was going away, so I might have made a mistake on this one. But strangely enough, the person that came to mind immediately when I looked at this category was Adam Brody. So I'm going to go with Adam Brody. Nobody wants this.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't watch TV. This proves why I lose all the time.
Well, his show is new. That could be something.
And that might be the reason why he loses. Thanks, AJ.
All right, any comedy series?
Yes.
Abbott Elementary, English Teacher, Hacks, Nobody Wants This, Only Murders in the Building, Somebody Somewhere, St. Denis Medical, and What We Do in the Shadows. I did look it up, by the way, to make sure that was Dennis and not like the French pronunciation. So
yeah,
That's fair.
It's weird to look at that and pronounce it Dennis. I feel like I'm doing it wrong, but I'm apparently not.
That is fair.
All right, so I took the actresses from Hacks and I took the actors from What We Do in the Shadows, which means have I basically narrowed it down to those two? Probably, unless it's Abbott Elementary, I guess, or something very surprising. This is one of those choices I didn't make ahead of time, as you can see.
That's fair.
I think I am going to narrow it down to Hacks and What We Do in the Shadows rather than going for another one. I'm going to say the question is you can imagine Critics' Choice's voting body in different ways. There's like the YouTubers and the people who like just got approved on Rotten Tomatoes or something, and then you have like old critics. Like I'm assuming like Leonard Moulton and them are in here. So well, yeah, Moulton's usually like here, isn't he? Like at the ceremony.
I think so.
So it feels like the younger crowd would skew What We Do in the Shadows. The older crowd would go Hacks, is what my mind is saying. So I'm stuck. I'm just gonna go Hacks.
Ashley.
I've gone with What We Do in the Shadows, but secretly I hope it's St. Denis Medical, because somehow it's made it in here despite the fact they've only aired 6 episodes. The other 12 don't start until this time next week, next Tuesday.
Nice.
So if the rest of the season turns out to be crap and it wins a Critics' Choice Award, that's going to be looking really stupid on the Critics' Choice Award.
I haven't watched it. I'm just happy whenever David Alan Grier is working. So I'm good with it.
Agreed.
Plus the pilot was done by Ruben Fleischer of Zombieland fame and all that as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, the problem with that is every time I saw the trailer, I was like, so it's The Office, but in a hospital. Great.
So Scrubs.
It's Scrubs.
Yeah. Well, no, because I think it's supposed to. It feels like it's more. Well, like at least like The Office was, in that it's a documentary rather than sort of breaking the fourth wall. Like sometimes it goes with Scrubs, but.
That's Doogie Howser. Yes.
Doogie Howser was a quality show.
I totally agree. So the comedy series is interesting because Abbott Elementary is 1 for 1. Hacks has lost a bit. Only Murders in the Building only got nominated once in 2022. And What We Do in the Shadows, except for 2023, which should be forgotten anyway, was 21, 22, and 24. And obviously nominated this year too. What We Do in the Shadows makes sense. Had I known that this was its last season, I probably would have gone for it. But no, I will stick with the universal skew and go with the Hacks as well.
All right. And finally, the drama categories.
Mighty Morphin Shogun time. Let's go.
Okay. For supporting actress, we have Moko Hoshi for Shogun, Allison Janney for The Diplomat, Nicole Kidman for Lioness, Sky P. Marshall for Matlock, Anna Sawai for Pachinko, and Fiona Shaw for Bad Sisters. This is probably going to be the Shogun hour again, but I'm going to lean Allison Janney here.
Okay.
I'll randomly say Kidman. Because I think it's the only award she's getting this season.
That's 1,000,000% guarantee, but still. So, Anna Sawai could do the double.
Mm-hmm.
She could win both for leading and supporting, and also win for Shogun as well as Pachinko. And that's another reason I was thinking about going for Pachinko for series a while back. But in the immortal words of a movie, I'm not gonna. Spread the love for Shogun. Moko Hoshi.
Okay. And supporting actor?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Tadanobu Asano for Shogun, Michael Emerson for Evil, Mark Paul Gosselaar for Found, Takahiro for Shogun, John Lithgow for The Old Man, and Sam Reed for Interview with the Vampire. I'm gonna go the Globes route and say Tadanobu Asano. And I stress again, that was a wonderful speech at the Globes. So I also looked up this Mark-Paul Gosselaar role, and that sounds like something very interesting turn for his career and a very different kind of character to imagine him as. So that's interesting, but I didn't think about him anyway. I just looked into that, but I'm going the Tana Basano route.
Ashley.
Yeah, I'm going with Asano as well for Shogun.
So as fun as it would be to, I wrote this on here. It'd be fun to go with Zach Morris. Love that. That'd be fun. John Lithgow already won for the crown, but he lost 2 times after that. And it's funny because if you look on Wikipedia and you click on it, you know how anybody can put stuff on Wikipedia. Some Mizark on Wikipedia literally already bolded Sam Reed's name.
I'm on Wikipedia and I don't see that.
It was on there this morning, so someone must have fixed it. Knowing I was going to say something, they must have had like bugged my castle or something. So needless to say, they heard me say that. But that was something I saw. I was like, stop. So basically, you're looking at Tadanobu Asano has a chance to not only take the Critics' Choice, but take the Globe, and also the Daytime Emmy as well. And I feel that that's a good possibility. He's going to go 3 for 3.
All right, actress.
Yes.
We have Katrina Balfe for Outlander, Kathy Bates for Matlock, Shanola Hampton for Found, Keira Knightley for Black Doves, Carrie Russell for The Diplomat, and Anna Sawai for Shogun. I could try Kathy Bates again, but I don't think I'm going to. I feel like Katrina Balfe has been here forever. Between this and the Globes and SAG, like how long has Outlander been going?
Dude, she was only nominated 2 years. She was nominated in 2016 and 2018.
Well, that's just here though, right?
That's just here. I'm not looking at anything else. I'm looking at the Critics' Choice. So are we going to go with?
Yeah, everything froze up for me for a second.
Yeah, did for everything.
Yeah, I'm going Anna Sawai, of course.
Ashley.
I think I'll say Sawai as well. It seems weird that, at least from what I'm seeing from Critics' Choice wise, it sort of hasn't received any nominations in Critics' Choice since like season 1, and all of a sudden it's shown up again. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I remember, AJ, you probably remember this. My mom used to talk about Outlander back in the day.
Yeah.
Also, Outlander's got an 8th and final season just confirmed anyway. So, it's finally ending.
So obviously, I mean, come on. Anybody that doesn't go with Anna Sawai is probably a sucker bet at this point. I mean, there could be a surprise. I doubt it, but you never know.
Well, speaking of, shall we go into actor as well?
Yes.
Yeah, this list.
We have Jeff Bridges for The Old Man, and Shudigawa for Doctor Who, Eddie Redmayne for The Day of the Jackal, Hiroyuki Sanada for Shogun, Rufus Sewell for The Diplomat, and Anthony Starr for The Boys. Anthony Starr kind of comes from out of nowhere. Is anybody not saying Sanada?
Ashley?
I'm saying Sanada, but trying to work out why Nkuti Gat was here. Such a good performance, but apparently not good enough to be recognised in anything else.
Nope, not at all.
Which is weird.
Yeah, for sure, Sanada.
I just remember them announcing, like, who the new Doctor was, and describing him, and I could just hear a certain portion of YouTube just exploding. It's hilarious. So, drama series?
Let's kill TV off.
Yes. Interview with the Vampire, Day of the Jackal, The Diplomat, Evil, Industry, The Old Man, Shogun, and Slow Horses. Is anybody not saying Shogun?
Shogun.
Yeah, Shogun as well. So.
All right. Movies. Are we ready?
I have no access to chat, so if anybody's talking, sorry, I haven't been able to see anything.
See if there is anything mention.
Because I don't have access to chat right now.
That's all sort of movie. Nobody's yeah. The only thing related to TV I guess we could bring up is Bri mentioning, didn't Sofia Vergara heckle Jodie Foster? I don't think she heckled her. I think Jodie, I think, gave props to her or something.
I couldn't tell what was going on. Vergara was shouting out to her before she said something to her, so I don't know what was going on. Nobody looked unhappy, so I'm assuming it wasn't. I'm assuming it wasn't a big deal.
It wasn't a Hey Dwayne moment.
All right, so it looks like we're starting with foreign.
Yes.
Where we've got All We Imagine As Light, Amelia Perez, Flo, I'm Still Here, Kneecap, and The Sea of the Sacred Fig. Now, typically, I would say, like, All We Imagine As Light has gotten a shitload of Critics Awards. And Flo has as well in both categories it's in.
Heck yeah, it has.
But it's another one where it's like, if they have one of the four nominees in picture, don't overthink it.
Yep.
So I'm going to go Amelia Perez.
Ashley.
Yeah, I think the youthful contingent are probably going to go with Amelia Perez over a fair few of them. If Kneecap suddenly wins, holy crap.
Yes, let's go. In another year, if Amelia Perez wasn't what apparently looks to be a major contender, I could see The Seed of the Sacred Fig winning, or I could see Flo surprising out of nowhere, or All We Imagine Is Light winning, or I'd love if Kneecap won. That'd be fantastic. But no, this is a no-brainer. It's a solid list, but Amelia Perez.
All right, animated.
Let's go.
We have the usuals: Flo, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit: The Wild Robot. And I would say we're back to what we were saying during the Globes. It's between Flo and The Wild Robot. I don't know if it's just the Globe win that's swaying me, but I'm also, the fact that they also put Flo in foreign makes me lean Flo. But it's definitely between it and The Wild Robot, I would say. But I'm gonna go ahead and stick with Flo.
Ashley.
I am dying on the hill, Wallace and Gromit.
Now, Wallace and Gromit, does BAFTA have an animated category? Last time I checked, they do, right?
Yeah.
If Wallace and Gromit can't win the BAFTA, then it's not winning anything this season.
Keep in mind, because of BAFTA having the children's and family film as well, it's basically a double nomination for it as well.
I'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
It's the right answer. It's the correct answer. And I really hope this continues to move forward through the rest of the award season. The answer is Flo.
Okay. This one might be a little trickier. Because sometimes they go obvious on this one, sometimes they don't. We're looking at comedy.
Yeah, unfortunately.
We have Deadpool, Hitman, My Old Ass, A Real Pain, Saturday Night, and Thelma.
One of the worst movies of the year is the last thing on that list. Hate that movie.
So I would think it's down to A Real Pain and Deadpool, I guess.
Oh, God.
It worries me that they did not put A Real Pain in picture when they really should have.
Yeah, they should have.
It should absolutely be in a complete unknown spot, but My Old Ass has obviously gotten very topical very recently,
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
where that movie means more now than it once did
Absolutely.
when it first came out. So I don't know if that will be in people's minds. It totally could. My instinct is to just say A Real Pain. Hitman would obviously be a fantastic choice. A Real Pain would be the best choice, and they might go that. It's just that thing where you never know if they're gonna go like A Real Pain is like equally comedy and drama, whereas most of these are just comedy. So my old ass has a lot of drama in it as well, especially those last scenes.
Oh, for sure.
Even without today's connotation with it, in general, there was some drama in it.
It still hit hard at the end.
Yeah, so it's still a thing of, do they want a pure comedy, or are they gonna just judge the movies on how good they are? In which case, A Real Pain should run away with Hitman right there with it. I'll say A Real Pain is kind of I guess A Real Pain would be the safe choice, you could say.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So I'll say that.
Ashley.
And hope for it as well.
See, previously this sort of category was like actually looking for the best comedy movie. Hence, Deadpool winning for the first one. But in recent years, it feels like it's always gone to the comedy movie that's in contention at the Oscars. So I feel with that, I'm gonna go also with A Real Pain. I mean, if Hitman shows up here, it's probably locking in, or not locking in, but it gives it much more of a chance to possibly get in with screenplay at the Oscars. If the youth are really voting, I feel it could be Deadpool and Wolverine, and I don't think I don't think the voting is I don't know when the voting period has been, as to whether My Old Ass could sort of get a sympathy sort of vote because of Aubrey's situation, but yeah, I'll stick with Real Pain.
Well, Hitman is sight unseen, but I've heard great things. Nothing in the world's going to get me to watch a Deadpool movie. That was one of the worst movies of the year. I love A Real Pain. I love My Old Ass, and I love Saturday Night. And I really wish Saturday Night was more in this conversation too. I really wish it would get some sort of flowers this year. Especially because I just read something recently that I don't know ever get a chance to talk about this again. Gabriel LaBelle is being looked at to play Kurt Angle very soon.
That's interesting.
Gold medalist Kurt Angle back in the Atlanta Olympics.
Okay.
Everything. So yeah. Yes, sign me up now. It's A Real Pain. It has to be. I mean, would not be shocked if they go something else, because sometimes they go lame here, but we'll see what happens. Real Pain's the right answer. Go with it.
All right. Am I coming through clearly?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you're coming in clear.
Okay. Okay, because when I go back and forth between Wikipedia and Discord, it like gets choppy on me. Just making sure.
It's just my typing. Don't worry.
All right. Visual effects.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we got Gladiator, Wicked, Dune, Better Man, The Substance, and Planet of the Apes. They could go one of the ape themes with Better Man or Planet of the Apes. I doubt the apes in Gladiator are a part of this conversation. They were kind of a weak point.
In a movie, though.
Like Better Man's the one where I'm like, I wonder if it could, but I also feel like this is Dune's to lose, so I'm gonna say Dune.
I'll do it. I'll quickly mention something after we get Ashley's prediction.
Let's see if the critics want to be inspired and say Substance.
Oh God, that'd be nice. See, these are times that I have to forget that we're in a competition and want to be wrong. So the things I really want to win actually do. That being said, I guess I'll just take this time right now. Last night's secret movie, to the shock of absolutely no one, was Better Man. If you've seen Gracie's Greatest Showman, you know what his style's like and you're prepared for it. I actually had to walk out right as soon as the movie started, as soon as I saw Robbie Williams for the first time. That being said, I mentioned before, number one, I'm a big Oasis mark. That plays into the story. Number two, I love The Ego Has Landed, that compilation album that came out. I played it all the time in high school. It was fantastic stuff. Loved Robbie Williams stuff. Love Take That. They play really well with everything. I love the grandiose style of the performances. Using Rock DJ as a Take That song, or like a Robbie Williams plus Take That song, was really well done. The way they used Angels was well done. And it's just a fantastic movie. It's absolutely hilarious. It is a tearjerker. It's very heartwarming. All of this, if it wasn't rated R, I have a feeling that it would have a tremendous audience that would propel it to do really well in award season. Because if you could cut the language out and some of the, obviously, like the sex and drugs, then you probably would be able to get away with having an extremely solid crowd pleaser that people will be very happy, especially people who love The Greatest Showman. They love this movie, whether they know who Robbie Williams is or not. It's just that well done, especially the last scene with My Way at the end, which is just phenomenal, and there's not a tear dry in the house. So, yeah. Better Man's fantastic and deserves anything it gets nominated for. And it's kind of changing my list of top movies right now. So it'll probably be towards the bottom, but it's riding up there. Love to see The Substance win this. Dune has precedence because Dune originally won. But there's also another stat that I want to throw out. Apes has never lost. Rise won, Dawn won, War won. Kingdom wins. 4 for 4.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so that's the reason I wanted Planet of the Apes, because Dune was my first thought, and I was like, well, let me look more into this, see what I can figure it out. Nope, Apes has never lost. So if it loses, it's going to be the only Apes movie that was nominated for visual effects that actually lost. And a lot of people consider this one of the better ones.
Further proving people only voted for it because it's Andy Serkis.
A win is a win.
Which is funny because if I remember correctly, Andy Serkis is not in this one.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying.
Probably not.
We'll have to resurrect that. Well, we can't bring back Caesar, but we'll just have him play somebody else.
That's fair.
All right, hair and makeup.
Yes.
We have Beetlejuice, Dune, Wicked, Nosferatu, A Different Man, and The Substance. I feel like Dune took this pretty handily its first year out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like across the board, if I remember correctly.
Right.
Nosferatu seems like a possibility. A Different Man seems like a possibility.
I agree.
But when you talk about the visual effects in The Substance, I don't know about that as much as I do its makeup. Because not only is it just sort of a crucial part of the movie, and obviously this is hugely in part to her performance also, but for like, as we're going into the third act and everything from then on, it's still barely registering that that's actually Demi Moore. Like it's mind blowing. I would like to think that The Substance will have this, and as we go throughout the year too. But Dune's always hanging out, and I feel like a different man could sneak up on it. But I'm gonna say the substance.
Ashley.
Oh. What I do find fascinating by this is if you look at the makeup guild, Doom wasn't even recognised.
Yep.
And
It could be
and even was
with
Nosferatu. So
with Dune, it could be the case of there's not a lot of difference in makeup from the previous movie,
yeah.
if I had to guess.
So because this usually goes to how the hell do we make this person not look like that person? Half the field is whittled down, so all we have left is Nosferatu, the substance, and a different man. So here's the three-sided coin, and I want to say different man, but I'm gonna go with substance as well.
Yeah, because the other thing with Dune, I guess you could bring up is Austin Butler, where they had to where he was originally going to shave his eyebrows, but he was doing the bike rider, so he couldn't. So they had to do a little more than they thought they were going to have to. But even then, it's still the Harkonnen makeup. So
Okay. So obviously, I mean, I don't even think I even need to say it at this point. Anything that it's getting nominated for, I'm gonna want to reward it regardless. But this is the one that feels like, I can't say a certainty, but it feels more and more likely every single day. It's definitely the substance.
Also, shout outs to Wikipedia for thinking that Mike Marino, the makeup artist for Different Man,
yeah,
is the same person that died 40 something years ago from World of Sport British Wrestling.
I saw that, made me laugh my ass off. That is Mike Marino, yes, but that is not Mike Marino.
It's a Mike Marino, not the
Yes.
Mike Marino.
I thought you were going to say it was Ken Marino, and people got real confused.
are we ready to do some music?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess.
For song, we have Beautiful That Way from The Last Showgirl, Compress Repress from Challengers, El Mal from Amelia Perez, Harper and Will Go West from Will and Harper, Kiss the Sky from The Wild Robot, and Mi Camino from Amelia Perez. I don't know if the Globes are swaying me or what, but the easy choice feels like El Mal at this point, especially since it is when we were predicting the Globes. I think I was saying I couldn't distinguish the Amelia Perez numbers by their titles. But if I had always known that El Mal was the one with the tables and Zoe going through the crowd and stuff like that, that seems like a pretty that's feels like kind of the showstopper of the movie, so that makes sense. I could almost see Critic's Choice going for Will and Harper potentially.
Okay.
Or Kiss the Sky, I guess. Compress Repress, of course, would be my choice. But I'll stick with El Mal potentially doing just one place went with it, so we'll all go with it. What happened to Sam Smith essentially? Where people are like, oh, we don't want to think about it. We'll just go with what everybody else said.
That's fair.
So I'll say El Mal. Even it is a great number, so it's not not earned or anything. So that's what I'll say.
No idea.
I'd like them to be inspired, but considering practically everything since 2010, bar the other Muppet song, because they went with Life's a Happy Song instead of Man or Muppet. Practically every time they've gone with the one that turns out to win the Oscar sort of weeks later. So yeah, I feel it's going to be El Mal.
This whole thing I had about Maren Morris's song from The Wild Robot doing anything, yeah, forget that. I'm just gonna abandon that right now. It's the Amelia Perez song. Honestly, no, it's El Mal. Hopefully, I'll get to see this before this award show is over, but I highly doubt it.
Oh no, I'd have thought it would. If it gets the most nominations, they're going to have to, because people are going to go, why is it getting all these nominations?
Well, there's only 2 theater chains I can check right now, and Slim and None just left the door, so.
All right, score.
Yes.
We have Conclave, The Brutalist, The Wild Robot, Amelia Perez, Challengers, and Dune. As you know, I was over the moon. Along with Elton John, I was over the moon at the Globes about Challengers winning this.
Yes.
Now, because I would love that so much, I feel like I can't say it because I'm saying it because I want it to rather than I think it actually might. What I went with at the Globes was The Brutalist. And if Challengers keeps winning, that will continue to make me happy. But if Challengers doesn't continue winning, I would default back to The Brutalist. So I think I'm going to go ahead and guess The Brutalist again, while secretly hoping that I'm wrong and the Globes repeat.
Ashley?
I'm trying to think how this might go, because again with previous, it's pretty gone very much with what actually shows up and wins the Oscar at the end, which I feel because of the stuff rules out Dune. I'll say Conclave for this one.
Nice.
I'm okay with that.
Considering there's no sound, I can't praise the sound, so I'll just go with the score with the weird sound instead.
As easy as it would be to say Zimmer here, I'm not going to go that route. And if they really want to wax poetic about Amelia Perez, anything is a possibility. But AJ can't say it, but I can. I'm going with Reznor and Ross for Challengers.
Yes. These next two are not easy.
I have a thought process, but I have to debate how I want to do this.
We'll start with production design, where we have The Brutalist, Wicked, Conclave, Nosferatu, Gladiator, and Dune. I think The Brutalist is definitely not out of the equation because it's literally about architecture.
That's very true.
But I think I ended up narrowing it down to Wicked and Dune.
Okay.
Because those are hard to ignore.
Yes.
And I feel like if Wicked's going to like really do something and really show itself, it's these two categories. The man, it is hard to ignore that The Brutalist is literally about architecture. I think I'm leaning Wicked. So I think that's what I'm gonna say, but Dune and The Brutalist, I feel like, are the ones to really look at here, with maybe Nosferatu not being underestimated either.
No, its biggest selling point is
these are actually all strong choices. Conclave is interesting because you have the really big rooms, but then you have like a lot of really intimate rooms too. But yeah, I'll go with Wicked for now. But this one, I'll be interested to see who wins this as we go, because these are really interesting categories this year.
What do you got, Ashley?
I want to say Conclave just for the sake of doing that style of recreation of the Sistine Chapel, because they did make some differences and whatever to try and make it sort of feel more akin to like a prison style thing, like you see with the sort of the rooms where the cardinals and everything stay in. But I'll go with Dune on this one. I don't think I have it a huge amount in the other categories because there's other stuff going up against it that I think is arguably stronger. So yeah, big set.
So both Gladiator and Dune won previously. So for their sequels to win, wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. So I see where Ashley's coming from and what AJ mentioned as well. But yeah, it's one of those things that I feel that even though this is Critics' Choice, when we actually get to nominations morning in a week, needless to say, Wicked's nominations are going to be massive, but may not be anything like super major, like Arrivo and Grande getting in, being like their top nomination, and maybe something that would surprise, like maybe like a screenplay potentially. I'm not going that route, but I mean, it could happen. But other than that, it's going to be a lot of tech awards. And this is where the tech awards come in for these two categories specifically. So yeah, I concur with AJ. I'm going with Wicked here.
Oh, I take it back. It was the actual the accommodation for the Cardinals. They took the artistic license on because, quote, they felt the real version was rather dull. So the Sistine Chapel was fully recreated. So that could be interesting production design consideration. But I don't think critics will acknowledge that. Maybe the actual guilds and all that.
And costume design?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Pretty familiar. Conclave, Nosferatu, Maria, Wicked, Dune, and Gladiator. So to switch out the Brulus with Maria, and we've got the same group here.
Interesting.
I'm again leaning Wicked, but Dune and Maria are hanging out here. Once again, you could say a lot of Dune's costumes kind of carry over from one. Not all of them, many of them. Gladiator went all out costume-wise. And Nosferatu has some really great choices. I may have it narrowed down to Wicked and Maria, but I think I'm again leaning Wicked. Also, there was a period where costume design and production design's winners typically lined up quite a bit, I feel like.
That makes sense.
So I'm just gonna stick with Wicked, I think, but yeah. Again, it feels like it could be any of them.
Pablo Larraín stuff usually does well, costume-wise. It's like he cares more about that than sometimes the content of the films.
Yeah.
Clear.
Oh,
ow.
Part of me also wants to say Conclave, but so many of them are the same. Yeah, I'll stick with Maria.
Well, I feel it's weird to not mention that Dune lost to Cruella. So,
well, Cruella was about costumes, and we've always said about the costume category. We've always said if the movie's about costumes, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, sometimes that's proven incorrect. Most of the times it's right. But yeah, lining up, that checks out. I'm also going to go with Wicked.
All right. Editing.
Yep.
There it is for the first time.
Yep.
All right. We got what an interesting first two movies to say.
Yeah.
We got Nora. We got Anora, Challengers, Conclave, The Brutalist, Dune, and September 5. I fucking love that Challengers is here. Challengers should absolutely be a contender because not only is that editing on fucking fire, the timeline in Challengers is wild. Challengers has such a non-linear timeline. It's constantly telling you what timeline we're in, and it doesn't get annoying. You're grateful that it keeps telling you where we are in time.
It's like pain and gain.
Yeah. So that should absolutely be a top contender, especially the final like any of it at all, but especially the final match. Sometimes the transitions, like the one when he like hits the ball and then it transitions into when he and Zendaya are just like practicing. It's perfect. It's perfectly edited, so it should run away with this. But also, I haven't seen September 5, but I also feel like that's a sort of dark horse contender here.
Maybe not so much of a dark horse as you think.
I'm not sure how much Critics' Choice thinks, because oftentimes you'll have people say, oh, if a movie's 3.5 hours, it shouldn't get editing, because they apparently know dick about what editing is.
Accurate.
Same for Dune's length, even though it's like 45 minutes shorter. Still, I could see people saying that. I'm gonna bet against myself. I'm going to say Anora.
Ashley.
Just because it feels right with the nature of the movie, I'm gonna go with Challengers.
See, Ashley can say it because you can, AJ.
No, it's because, you know, for something that's... I feel the editing thinks that it's in a fucking Aaron Sorkin movie. It's the editing is what brings the pace to the storyline, not just the script. Which for something that's tennis, I guess, that's what Wimbledon was lacking. God damn it.
Yeah, the score and the editing. The movie's such a technical marvel. That's one of the many reasons I love it so much.
So I said before that I've said many times in the past, I'm gonna go down with the ship. And sometimes I'm way too stubborn for my own good, and I will continue to be until I am forced not to be. We are still in the point that there could be surprises that are not obvious at this moment. Challengers would be a great idea. That is the right answer here, easily. Don't doubt Conclave here. Honestly, cool. I would be happy with that. But AJ, you said something, and it rings true because out of this panel, I'm the only one that's seen September 5. And there's a reason it's here. And spoiler alert, there's a reason it's going to surprise people with an editing nomination on Oscar nominations morning. Because it's really in this competition, and people don't even realize it even exists. It comes out in theaters this week. Next week is when it officially comes out in theaters. I've already seen it, and I know that it's there, and just the way that the footage is shot and put together, and just how everything just flows so well. Kind of like Aaron Sorkin's Sports Night, but more of a drama instead of a comedy. Yeah, I'm going to go with September 5 here.
Okay.
This is tough.
This is a good one.
Yeah, this is really good.
For cinematography, we have Nosferatu, Wicked, The Brutalist, Conclave, Dune, and Nickel Boys. I would say Nosferatu, The Brutalist, Dune, and Nickel Boys are the first 4 to look at.
Right.
like Wicked and Conclave are nothing to like shake a stick at, but they're also like, I don't know if they're in this as much as those other four.
Look at the competition.
Yeah, obviously Nickel Boys, to my understanding, is very uniquely shot. I'm still very curious to see it. And then obviously Dune just is incredible. I may have it narrowed down to, actually I don't know, like, no, I have it narrowed down to those four. That's why I said that. I can't break it down anymore from those four. I'm leaning The Brutalist.
Okay.
So I think that's what I'm gonna say, but any of those four would not be surprising at all.
Ashley.
I'm gonna say Brutalist as well, because I do feel sort of. I think you brought it up, AJ. There's sort of one scene where there's no dialogue and there's just score for like however many minutes.
I was referring to the intermission.
Oh, okay. That isn't going to get cinematography.
Very good for the score, not so much the cinematography.
Yeah. But I feel with like the story that's being told with that as well, there's going to be a lot of. I don't want to say Conclave is out of this either, because certainly that the way it's shot, the scene of the hole in the Sistine Chapel roof from the incident is very well done. But again, is that more sort of your production set design stuff, creating it rather than getting the cinematography for it? Yeah, I'll stick with Brutalist.
Now, it's interesting because I had a thought process I was going to go with, and I talked myself out of it. So there's a clear, immediate go-to here when it comes to cinematography, and it's something that I don't necessarily like, but actually I don't like it, but the cinematography, the look of it is the selling point for me, and the only thing I can really take from it. Not the acting performances, not anything else. Just the way it looks is just incredible. And that's obviously Nosferatu. Now, granted, me saying that, that's my opinion, and I'm completely on an island by myself when it comes to that. And that's fine, because I've seen all the reviews and everything. That's great. I get it. That's the reason why movies are preferential. I am also going to go with Brutalist here. And I'm very excited to say that I will officially see that movie in a few days from now. Finally.
All right, let's hop over screenplay and do these other two before we go into the big eight.
Oh, young actor and actress is next?
We'll do ensemble first.
Okay. I thought ensemble would bleed into the important categories.
Oh, well.
That's how I
Ensemble, we've got Anora, Conclave, Amelia Perez, Saturday Night, Sing Sing, and Wicked. I mean, part of me is leaning Anora. Conclave, you would think, would certainly be an option.
Yes.
Kind of. I mean, just based on the movie's whole concept, I'm leaning Sing Sing.
I would love that.
And I guess Wicked would make sense. Well, Wicked and Sing Sing, are those the only two that have multiple nominees here? Amelia Perez.
Conclave got a few.
Conclave for Fiennes and Rossellini.
Oh, yeah, okay, yes. Okay. So will it be one of the... Because I'm... Anora's glaring at me like it always does.
My response.
Like I said, should I just bet against myself? Because even if I'd be pissed if something won something, I'd get the point. in our prediction game. So I'd win
You-
either way. I don't know. Sing Sing just makes too much sense, right? It's literally, the movie is literally an acting ensemble.
Yes.
Literally. It doesn't get more literal than that.
No, it does not.
All right, I'll say Sing Sing, I guess. It makes too much fucking sense, which makes me feel like it won't be that. Like, the fact that it makes so much sense, because it's Critic's Choice, you know?
Ashley, what do you got?
I'll say Conclave on this one. Wicked's time is in 12 months.
Yeah, for sure. I really wish Saturday Night was more in this. In the talk for anything, really, honestly. I'm happy that it's here because it deserves to be here. I'm glad it's here. Do I see it getting nominated for SAG Ensemble? Probably not, but it would be cool. Conclave jumps out at me right away. Amelia Perez seems like it's not going away, so it makes sense that that's going to be an option too. Yep. So that's all I need to say there. Yeah, I've been championing it since day one, and I will continue to do so. I agree with AJ on this. Sing Sing's the correct answer here.
You would think.
I would.
I mean, I guess when I said a literal acting ensemble, I guess Saturday Night kind of falls into that also, but...
They don't seem like they want to give it anything. It honestly wouldn't surprise me at this point if it ends up with a goose egg at the Oscars. Nominations-wise.
I mean, its only shot would be original screenplay and editing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'd say it only shot would be original screenplay.
Yeah, and editing's pretty packed.
Yeah, tell me about it.
All right, young actor and actress? Or
Yeah,
actor?
let's get this over with.
We have Lila Brown for Furiosa, Elliot Heffernan for Blitz, Maisie Stell for My Old Ass, Isaac Wong for Dee Dee, Alicia Weir for Abigail, and Zoe Ziegler for Janet Planet. It's a strong list. Actually, I kind of feel like this list is usually pretty strong. Most of these people are the leads in their movies.
Right.
So Isaac Wong sticks out and Maisie Stella sticks out. I think that's who I have it narrowed down to. And like we were talking about My Old Ass and it having more of a an emotional punch as of late, I was kind of leaning Maisie Stella, and we've kind of seen her around in like the independent awards also.
Hmm.
So I think I'm going to go with her.
Ashley.
Yeah, it's weird that, Alicia Weir makes it in here, but not for Matilda. For the Dracula's daughter reimagining that I don't think that many people saw, even though
Abigail's solid.
I get reminded of the people saying this is the best scene of 2020 or best line delivery of 2024, and it's Dan Stevens in the bit where the girl walks in with the sack.
Yeah.
And he just goes, "Those are fucking onions."
Yeah, and props to Dan Stevens for his horror movies in 2024.
And then obviously Brown as well has the movement as well, what with showing up in Sting and then being a martyr in Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Yeah.
I'm going with My Old Ass here as well.
Isaac's a good shout. Anything Dee Dee gets, I'm happy with. If Furioso wants to get anything, it's its only chance. Love Alicia Weir to get this because I really enjoyed Abigail. But yeah, at the end of the day, I really liked My Old Ass a lot. You'll find that out soon enough. And yeah, Maisie Stella here.
I will say props to Alicia Weir, especially for her accent.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Watching Abigail, I would have never guessed that she's like Irish.
Nope.
Matilda the musical, you wouldn't know. Abigail, you wouldn't know. She's covering all grounds.
LawrencePugh.com.
Are we ready for the big eight?
Oh my god. Yeah, can we skip to that video for next week, please?
I feel so personally connected. Because in adapted screenplay, we have somebody that I was in a room with for several hours. And in original screenplay, we have the remains of my own screenplay. I feel really close to it.
Yes.
All right. Adapted?
Yes.
We have Amelia Perez, Wicked, Sing Sing, Nickel Boys, Conclave, and Dune. So, even taking the Globes out of it, has Conclave always kind of been at the front here? Because it's been a weak category all year.
It feels like it's been ahead, but no one really thought about it.
Yeah. I mean, Amelia Perez has been, a big thing throughout the season, but like I was saying, like, I can't say this enough. I've already said it a million times already, but I mean, how do you separate the music and the screenplay? Because a lot of the dialogue is the music. I still don't know how that works. But same for Wicked.
Yep.
So, and at least with Amelia Perez, like, it's original music. Like with Wicked, you just bring the show basically over. So if I had to, to me, it feels like Conclave's competition is Sing Sing and Nickel Boys.
That sounds logical.
And Sing Sing seems logical.
Mm-hmm.
Nickel Boys seems logical, even though a lot of people still haven't seen it. All of us included.
Yes.
But I guess the easy choice would be Conclave. So maybe just at the risk of overthinking it, I'll just say Conclave. So yeah.
Ashley.
I'm trying to quickly double check because I'm trying to work out how many times this usually matches up with either guilds or Oscars. It's relatively good. Because I can't really say guilds because I think like with the other list, half of them aren't actually in the guild. So,
this is a hard award show to prep for. Honestly,
yeah.
It really is.
I'll stick with the Globes picking Conclave, but I could see Nickel Boys or Sing Sing honestly taking this. That being said, I'm trying to work out if they win that, whether it shows up in the also awarded tonight segment rather than be featured.
No, I'm sure it will. Usually screenplays are in the... Oh, by the way, these things were also given out to other people tonight. I'd love to say Sing Sing here. I really would. I think people are underestimating Wicked. I don't have it here, but I feel that it's possible that it could take off. Ramel Ross just like looming over my head, like left and right. Like anything that Nickel Boys is getting, like any sort of accolades for, it feels like it needs to be more in the conversation than it may actually be. But yeah, I think it feels right to go with Conclave here until I'm proven incorrect.
All right, original.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We have myself and Sean Baker for Honora.
Shoot!
We have September 5, The Brutalist, and 3 of my favorite movies of the year, A Real Pain, The Substance, and Challengers. Yes.
I hope you take to September 5 because I feel that you're going to enjoy it.
I feel like it's my kind of thing.
It totally is.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, as you should.
So, like I said, 3 of my favorite movies of the year right here in A Real Pain, The Substance, and Challengers. I just love saying those titles together because I love them all so much. I'm going to go with myself and the man that turned my script into a comedy, and Sayonara. And for once, I'm going to be happy that they don't do the screenplays on air.
Ashley, what do you got?
Again, we have half of these not in consideration at the guilds, because of course.
Guilds like the points on whose line?
I'm going to stick with my prediction from the Globes and say Substance.
What you mean by that whose line reference? What you mean specifically is WGA.
Yeah, exactly what I mean. Sleepy AJ can still catch me. We're good. You're not completely out of commission yet. I want to live in a world where Jesse Eisenberg's more in this conversation.
I would love that.
Challengers would be a nice surprise. Corbet seems to have an award that's already custom made for him, so I don't think this screenplay is going to happen.
You would think he would be more in it.
You would. But again, I feel like he's got another trophy that he needs to collect on Oscar Sunday.
Unless he just hasn't started taking off yet in screenplay.
It is possible. But again, I'm stubborn. More so than the person that has any right to be. Has every right to be. Yeah. Farjeet.
That would be fantastic. A repeat of Can? That was Can that she won screenplay, right?
That is correct.
That needs to happen as well. All right. Supporting actress.
This isn't as easy as you think it is.
It's not hard. We have Danielle Deadweiler for The Piano Lesson, Ingenue Ellis for Nickel Boys, Ariana Grande for Wicked, Margaret Qualley for The Substance, Isabella Rossellini for Conclave, and Zoe Saldana for Amelia Perez. As usual, I'm assuming it's down to Saldana, and because we're still in Critics' Choice, Grande. I'm gonna say the Saldana train keeps going.
Okay.
And she's, like I said, except for the fact that she's leading, I have no problems with her winning the season. Even though I haven't seen Ingenue Ellis yet.
Yeah. Ashley.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Saldana here again. Even though I think her main competitors are Qualley and Rossellini rather than Grande. Because again, I feel Wicked will deserve more when we see how it plays out with the second half. Because if it goes really well in the first and then gets completely ignored in the second, what does that mean about the first in reality?
So it feels like Grande's has got a chance to win this time. But I don't necessarily... I thought that was going to happen at the Globes. Because I thought that was the last stand, and that's where everybody was like, oh my God, let's just watch the award season because Ariana Grande is going to win something. No. So abandon that option. We'll see if I go AJ's route of not even nominating her next week. I guess we'll find out when I do that video. Margaret Qualley is the right answer here, but I don't know if she's going to win anything this season, but it's getting more and more likely she's getting nominated, which, yes, you're welcome. She's had a great year in movies, some very divisive roles, and this is for me, I've been a fan for a while, so needless to say, I'm very supportive of Margaret Qualley's work. Yeah, you can obviously throw out the fact that she's with Jack Antonoff to the side, because that's probably part of it too. But still, always been a fan. AJ knows this. This is Zoe Saldana's award to lose at this point. I don't know if anybody's going to take her down. I don't think she has competition quite yet until we see somebody emerge. And I don't think anybody on this list is going to emerge. I feel like this is going to be a Saldana sweep for the rest of the run. Until proven otherwise.
Okay, supporting actor.
Yes.
We have Yura Borazov for Honora, Kieran Culkin for Real Pain, Clarence Macklin for Sing Sing, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, and Denzel for Gladiator. Now, at the Globes, I said I had it narrowed down to Culkin and Pearce, which is still the case, though I am not completely pulling away from Macklin here either.
Heck yes.
But I'd say Macklin is a dark horse, but Culkin and Pearce are the biggest possibilities, if I had to guess.
Sure.
Because I don't think Pearce is out of it yet.
Mm-mm.
But I love this Culkin train that's going. Like Saldana, he is leading. He is like I saw an argument recently that he's literally the entire movie, and that's basically the case.
Yeah.
The argument that can be made is that it while Culkin is the movie, to me it does also feel like we're always looking at him through Eisenberg's eyes.
True.
Both as the character Dave and being the writer-director. All this to say that I'm going to stick with Culkin. I'm rooting for Culkin, so we'll see. As usual, though, it's like if Denzel wants to come out of nowhere, that might piss some people off, but I would eat that shit up. But yeah, I'm going to go Culkin, but Pearce and Macklin are not ruled out at all.
What do you got?
It's between Culkin and Macklin, so I'm just trying to. I'll stick with Culkin. But yeah, I feel that this might be Macklin's to win as well.
This could really be the chance that Macklin has. And this is the guy that's been saying that Macklin since day one. And now that he's actually in the conversation again, makes me think that not only is he getting nominated, but there's a reason why he's being nominated, because it's a fantastic performance. This might be his only real chance to win this whole season, potentially. And I would love to see that happen. But it's really hard to go against Kieran Culkin here, and I'm not going to.
Okay, actress.
Let's go.
We have Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, Carlos Vega-Gascon for Amelia Perez, Marianne Jean-Baptiste for Hard Truths, Angelina for Maria, Mikey Madison for Honora, and Demi Moore for The Substance. Angelina falls into that Denzel category where you just know her name.
Of course.
Oh man, guys, if this Demi Moore thing is gonna become a trend, you will scarcely find a happier person. I'm on my knees begging for this Moore thing to happen. Obviously, Honora is the movie I have personal beef with. Again, if you've just joined in, there's a reason we won't go into. It's already out there. I've already just mentioned it, actually. So I don't have beef with Mikey Madison or Yura Borazov or any of those others. So when I say I'm saying Mikey Madison like this, it has nothing to do with her or what I'm assuming must be a great performance. Yeah, I'm gonna guess Mikey Madison here, while I'm, for many reasons, really hoping the Demi Moore thing is taking off, but we'll see. It's between the two of them, I think.
Ashley.
So yeah.
I'm not ruling out John Baptiste.
I wouldn't.
Because with some of those significant sort of bodies where she's been making history as sort of, the first black winner in years or decades, I should say, or ever, there's a chance they could go with it. But I'm going to say Demi Moore. Just because it worked out with the Globes and, even if it means she doesn't win the Oscar, but she still gets an Oscar nomination. Let it happen.
It's clear Arrivo's movie comes out this year, not last year. So if there's going to be a real chance, it's going to be next year. And at this point, I feel that the main star of Amelia Perez is the one that's not getting enough love overall when it comes to like winning things. So I think that continues. And again, I said I'm very stubborn, and I'm going to continue to be very stubborn. But in this case, I can be very stubborn. I can also say that what I really want to happen, and what everybody on this panel seems to really want to happen, hopefully will continue to happen. AJ can't say it, but I can. The Demi Moore train continues, and not only does it continue, she starts winning pretty regularly. And this race that everybody thought that was going to go one way goes the complete polar opposite.
That speech really made an impact.
I totally agree.
She won any heart she hadn't already won over. I feel like she may have won over when she spoke. I think actor has gotten a little easier.
Maybe.
For actor, we've got Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, Timothée Chalamet for Complete Unknown, Daniel Craig for Queer, Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, Ralph Fiennes for Conclave, and Hugh Grant for Heretic. I had a real strong debate with myself when we did the Globe predictions between Brody and Chalamet. I ended up going Chalamet. It was obviously Brody. And it feels like I don't know if it was just Globes night, because like I said, the Globes certainly don't automatically mean this is the person that's taking off. But we just saw that you can't really use Butler and Fraser as a precursor to this because of Fraser's Globes history, but yeah, I don't know. I really felt a Brody shift where it kind of felt like a two-person race for a while there. But that's also my personal complete non-reaction to a complete unknown. I don't know if that's playing a part in this also, but I'm feeling a Brody shift. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick with Brody.
Ashley.
See, I can't really say, they're doing it to make up for Pianist, because this whole category in the early years of this thing was practically just, here's the person that won. There weren't even nominees. And hell, that year there was only 3, because apparently nobody else did acting, other than Day-Lewis and Nicholson, who tied, and then Robin Williams in 1 Hour Photo. Inspired, I will say that one. Yeah, I'll stick with Brody, but I think there's a chance of Chalamet, maybe even Domingo, maybe making it in.
Would like that.
Depends what the YouTubers said, or predominantly the YouTubers said.
This is an interesting category because, like AJ said, it's starting to get a little bit more obvious until it's not. So the wrench here would be for Ralph Fiennes to win this.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Remember the days when Ralph Fiennes was the one that everybody thought was going to win before anything was really mentioned?
I don't know. I feel like when people saw the movie, they were like, "Oh, he's definitely getting in." But I don't know how many people jumped on him being a winner before the others came in. It always seemed like oh, he'll comfortably be nominated.
I saw plenty of people that were thinking that Fiennes was going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Would not mind Domingo winning this at all. There's no reason to mention Hugh Grant here. Happy to be nominated. And my thoughts on the movie aside, Daniel Craig's fine and queer. It's just, it seems like the performance that is very cuttable from this lineup of 6. And if you look at this lineup, that's probably the thing. And replace obviously somebody in that lineup, which we'll talk about later. Yeah. It would be a smart decision to have the next 3 categories be brutalist, brutalist, brutalist. Well, you know, I'm wearing something for a reason. And there was something that came across my social media feed the other day. And the great man that is on my t-shirt happened to be asked about what his opinions on his portrayal in A Complete Unknown were. And he had a response. Timmy's a brilliant actor, so I'm sure he's going to be completely believable as me. And goddamn it, he's going to win. Timothée Chalamet.
Chalamet.
You're welcome, AJ. I know you wanted that for a while.
Okay. Director.
Mm-hmm. The predominantly first half of the alphabet director.
We have Jacques Audiard for Emilio Perez, Tom Baker for Nora, Howard Berger for Conclave, John M. Chu for Wicked, Brady Corbet for The Brutalist, Corley Farjar for The Substance, Ramel Ross for Nickel Boys, and Denis Villeneuve for Dune. Well, I would say it's down to 2, but maybe it's down to 3.
It's possible.
I mean, I would say Corbet and him.
Yeah, unfortunately.
2, and Audiard would be the 3rd. You would think Corbet at this point is the way to go, like to where you'd barely think about it.
The speech at the Globes pretty much was like, this is a guy that's been that passionate about it. He got shafted nearly.
Yeah. Basically the opposite of the other guy.
No, you stole someone else's passion. It's okay.
So, yeah, I'm going to say, and we've talked, I think it was Brian that confirmed in our chat that voting for this the Globes happened before the voting on this would conclude or would have concluded.
Pretty sure, yes.
So they could be influenced by the Globes, and they're critics' choice, so of course they're going to be influenced.
Of course they are.
So if that's the case, I'm fucking nervous. But I'm going to say Corbet continues. And from the sounds of it, Corbet should continue. Even though Corley would be... Guadagnino's not here, so my personal choices would be Villeneuve or Corley. But it really sounds like Corbet earned this. So that would be good.
There might be the problematic skew. Voting for this started last Friday and ends 9 p.m. Pacific on Friday. Coming.
This
they're
coming
voting
from
now. So
okay. So it's basically gonna be the Globes again.
That's what I fear it might be.
I feel better now. Thank you.
Which one did you say, AJ, again?
Corbet.
Yeah, I think because of his speech and and everything showcasing, how personal it is to him and the battles that he went through and how great a film it appears to be. Because I've still got to wait 2 weeks. Brutalist and Corbet, yeah.
There's really no reason to say anything further. It's Corbet. I literally said it without saying it in the last thing I talked about. I said that doesn't matter about screenplay because there's a much bigger award that seems to have his name on it. And that's what I meant.
Okay, so here's the deal with picture. What we're working with is Honora, the Brutalist, a complete unknown, Conclave, Dune, Amelia Perez, Nickel Boy, Sing Sing, The Substance, and Wicked. So we've been talking about these people that don't really read the award season in the same way those of us who are looking into everything read it. So you'll notice a lot of like the regular person reactions and the media reactions seem to be ignoring the Brutalist a lot with the Globes, and we're trying to make it out that Amelia Perez is like the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I feel like the Brutalist is kind of the thing.
Yeah,
but,
I think so. Especially now.
Like the reason Amelia Perez did so well is, yeah, it did have a lot of nominations, but also the fact that it has a musical category that's separate from drama.
Mm-hmm.
And that it was up against, Honora and The Substance. But like I said, I feel like, are we not thinking, like, because people will probably look at this and they'll go, oh, everything's Amelia Perez. That's what the Golden Globes told me. That's what media headlines are telling me, is that everything is Amelia Perez.
That so many people saying the skew has shifted to Amelia Perez as the front runner for picture now after the Golden Globes. I laughed my behind off for like minutes when I saw that.
Yeah. It's not completely stupid, but I feel like Odiard would be a lot more in the conversation for director if that was the case.
Odiard's on the cusp right now, not in the conversation at this point.
The Globes be damned, what scares me.
Yeah, I know.
Is if it's not the Brutalist, it's something else that's not Amelia Perez. And isn't The Substance.
Yeah, it should be The Substance.
Because that thing that is half mine has been... What's the thing of, like, when you're paying attention to all the Critics Awards and how those don't really overlap with whoever the hell Critics' Choice is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I still think it's one of those cases of nobody really knows who Critics' Choice is. It's as big of a mystery as what are we awarding when we have cinematic and box office achievement at the Globes. It's like, it's who even knows what that is.
Thank you, William Shatner. Yes.
Really? That's gonna be in my conscience now when I speak.
You're welcome.
Because a lot of Critics Awards have loved Honora.
Yeah, fortunately.
So I'm tempted to say it. Because like I said...
Ooh, you could say it. That's right.
If it goes one way, I'll be pleased. If it goes another way, I'll be depressed, but I'll get a point in our predictions game. So it's like, just for the sake of having a win-win scenario, I guess I should say Honora. Maybe he'll come clean and shout me out during his speech. I doubt it. The fucking coward, but...
Sleepy AJ is fun. I know this from experience, and now you guys know too. Ashley, you gonna say anything?
So, weirdly, although we say that the Critics' Choice doesn't really sort of matter, they've been more on point with getting Best Picture than most other bodies.
Yeah.
They missed out with Social Network in 2010, but Artist they got right, Argo they got right, 12 Years a Slave they got right. Boyhood was in the hunt, but obviously Birdman won that year, but Boyhood got the Critics' Choice. They went with Spotlight, they went with La La Land, they went with Shape of Water, they went with...
we have accused Critics' Choice of always trying to predict the Oscars. So, to their credit, at the time they happened, The Social Network and Boyhood looked like the picture winners.
And they
Yeah.
went with Roma when Green Book obviously won the Oscar.
I believe at that time Roma looked like the winner also.
Yeah.
It was.
For some reason, they went with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, other than not Parasite. But
I mean, that's the right
again,
answer.
that could be the. Were there YouTubers in there by then?
Maybe.
I can't remember, but yeah, Nomadland in 2020. They went with Power of the Doogie Howser, but Coda was in there, so it makes sense. EEAO won, and then Oppenheimer did one last year, so it seems to be sort of roughly 50-50. So let's hope it's on the accurate side this time, because I'm flipping between three. I'll leave out Amelia. I'll leave out Brutalist. I'm gonna stick with Substance just because something.
Hell yeah. Well, your answer's right. Whether they go with it or not, your answer is the correct answer. But yeah, I'm not going with something. Now I can't go with something else. So I'm going to shake things up, and I'm going to go with the obvious choice. I'm going to go with the Brutalist.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
So I would say we knock out chat before we do the long list, so we can take it home early.
Yeah.
Because AJ may not be joining us too much longer, because I think he has an engagement he has to take care of about 9 o'clock tonight.
I'm just making 9 my cutoff because my head won't be able to take it.
And by engagement, I mean he really needs to rest like ASAP. Shoot.
So Josie says Kneecap showing on the short list has me wondering if it could get into original song as a surprise.
I don't think it'll be a surprise at this point. I think it actually might happen. And I'd be very happy if it does.
Watch out for All We Imagine as Light in director and screenplay.
Mm-hmm.
Adding that if it gets nominated for both at BAFTA, it makes me wonder how far it might have been off Best Film. We'll get to the long list talk in a bit. Bry's finished filming the Critics' Choice predictions, making me correct the title that I did on 15 minutes notice. Thank you, Bry. Yeah, Bluey's getting a movie, so clearly it worked out.
It's coming to the Disney parks too.
Bry also says, "Don't worry, AJ. I had a headache yesterday as usual on Mondays."
They're super fun.
The last 2000s Oscar movies I've seen: American Splendor, Hero, Diving Bell and the Butterfly, Little Miss Sunshine, and Dirty Pretty Things.
Nice.
And some good stuff on that list.
Bry's 06 rankings for the best picture: Letters from Iwo Jima at 5, Babel at 4, Little Miss Sunshine at 3, Departed at 2, and The Queen at number 1.
Wow.
That's unique.
I mentioned the Sophie Vergara heckling bit. Joe says, AJ, Chris Van Allsburg, author of Jumanji, has a book called Wreck of Zephyr. The artwork looks like the cinematography in Denis Villeneuve's films.
Oh, wow. I'll have to look into that.
And apparently he's distraught about the Academy ruling Dunes 2 score being ineligible. I think Hans Zimmer doesn't care because he won the Oscar last year.
He's won a lot.
He was doing a concert at the time he won for Dune, and he basically gave a speech to his own audience, basically saying he didn't give a fuck about the Oscar.
If Cardinal Lawrence were to write a self-help book, what would it be called? I don't know. Light from the Ceiling?
Dear God.
On On the note of challenges, I came across a funny tennis joke on Twitter. What do you call a woman with no arms or legs in the middle of a tennis court? A net.
Got it.
I was attacked by a flock of sheep this afternoon, but I was only grazed. I was very lucky I wasn't fleeced, but I did get rammed. You got rammed? Oh my? Is this the last show go?
That's Friday.
What do you call
Continue.
Hippie's wife in Mississippi? I walked by some fungi today and they started saying mean things about me. They were shit-talking mushrooms. And then, luckily, joke. I don't think this is a joke. Robert Pattinson and Suki Waterhouse reportedly got married in the Caribbean a few days ago.
2 days ago.
I got a new.
By the way, just to clarify, is it only a certain age group, or do all kids know about the existence of shiitake mushrooms because of Spy Kids? Or is that just my age group?
I see where you're coming from.
I got a new plunger today, AJ. It made me think of the plunger in the One Crab's Trash episode of SpongeBob. The antique. It belonged to a queen, the Queen of Switzerland. Wait a minute, they don't have a queen. Owen, imagine Ape, Robbie Williams, and Caesar doing karaoke together.
Land of 1,000 Dances, make it happen. When you watch the movie, it'll make more sense what I just said.
Bry also says we know for a fact next year's winner for visual effects is Avatar: Fire and Ice. If it comes out,
that movie with fire and ash.
A magic school bus becomes a tennis ball that the Challengers trio uses. Also, rest in peace to Peter Yarrow from Peter, Paul and Mary. I was getting distracted by some things, so I didn't get all of Owen's picks. I missed a couple of them, but we'll do that after we've gone off air. But
yes,
yeah, I
was
getting distracted by the wildfires that are going on in California right now, and because people are just stranding their cars where they are, the person that is clearing the cars to let the fire trucks get through and stop the fire is Steve Gutenberg. Who knew?
Always count on. Dang it, God.
I was just gonna say he's always seemed like a good dude.
Yeah.
Did I just say always count on Kerry Mahoney at all times? Come on.
Bryce says, I saw that earlier. I heard Puff the Magic Dragon for the first time back in my music history class in 10th and loved it.
Of course, it's clear Bobcat's the one who set the fire. If you don't know.
Apparently, Adrian Brody is dating the ex-wife of Harvey Weinstein. Almost a middle finger from actor to producer.
That's wild. I only just learned that Rami Malek and Emma Corrin apparently have been together for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know he had split up from Lucy Boynton. I had to get fully caught up.
And Bry with the Puff the Magic Dragon mentioned said it'd be a good mashup with Raffi's Baby Beluga.
Thank you for bringing up Raffi in chat, Brian. I thought I was one of the only people that remembered who Raffi was.
Kevin Davis. I want to say newish name. I'm trying to remember if we've seen it in recent shows.
Maybe once, but it does look new, so welcome.
Best picture is going to be between Brutalist and Amelia Perez. The Academies are going to be very predictable. Honora's not going to be poor things for the Oscars. Fans need to move on. Or somebody will be happy with that.
Yeah. All of us.
Best animated feature.
Don't get my hopes up too much. Kevin was his name?
Yes.
Don't get my hopes up, Kevin.
Best animated feature will win Flow. Could win Inside Out 2.
I want Flow to win.
Thinks that Nickel Boys will also get a Best Picture nomination.
It's possible.
Don't be surprised if Furiosa misses for stunt ensemble for SAG tomorrow. I mean, it seems to be the trend. It's just missing for everything.
Yeah,
by the way, we have confirmation. It's not on bloody Instagram for the first time. They're actually sticking it on Netflix's YouTube channel.
They heard me. I hope they heard me.
God.
They're like, you guys have to have a YouTube channel. Come on.
Although I love the fact that two other people are doing the stunt ensemble announcements, and then they're getting Joey King and the other person to do the rest of them, as if.
By the way, can I just say how kind of psyched I am about SAG being tomorrow? I'm fucking dying to know what they're going with. Not that it, not that it's necessarily going to help us with predictions, but I just want to know what the hell they're gonna go with. Especially actress. Actress is I actress is actress is probably half the reason I have a headache right now.
Bryce says one thing that makes Demi have a stronger chance to possibly win the Oscar is the makeup and hair deal, because the last three lead actresses got the Oscars for it.
That's
Actors,
right.
I should say, because Chastain for Eyes of Tammy Faye, Fraser for The Whale, and Stone for Poor Things.
Oh,
So
that's
Demi
a
Moore will follow it
really
up.
That's
that's a
helpful, Brian.
that's a really good observation.
So if makeup and hair goes to Wicked, panic. Because God knows how any of them are going to be on stage when they win. Considering how we've seen them in the press junket, like, practically lose their minds. Brian says, speaking of trains, rest in peace to Britt Allcroft, the TV series creator of Thomas and Friends. Died over Christmas, but the news didn't break until late last week. And then, speaking of Chalamet, the news media would not shut up about romance at the Globes. I mean, the fact that it took until the day after the Globes for the news to sort of leak out that Peter Parker and Mary Jane are apparently engaged now. But boy, they didn't. That was not a thing anywhere.
Normally I would say I don't really care, but since Zendaya is the star of my two favorite movies of the year, it's like, oh, good for celebrate all you want. You've given us plenty this year.
And Smurfy mentions if Guadagnino didn't have queer and focused on challenges, could Zendaya have got the last Best Actress spot, and could Josh or Mike have gotten into supporting actor?
It kind of annoyed me they didn't even get as far as the Globes. But I would anything else. Honestly, Challengers is doing better than I thought it would because it came out so early, and we thought queer was going to overshadow it.
No. Hi, Daniel Craig. That's about it.
I mean, so going in with that mindset, I'm happy with anything Challengers does. But yeah, it could be doing so much more. But yeah, I'm not sure how much queer had to do with that, but it's hard to say. Because when he did the directors on directors with Villeneuve, they talked about Challengers just as much, if not more, than they talked about queer, even though they both had the Zendaya connection, but still.
So yeah. Now getting to the BAFTA Longlist stuff.
And Josie has some messages we're gonna take care of after we do the long list.
Okay. So yeah, this children's and family film, that was the big thing that came out, because it's like, oh, Paddington and Peru get snubbed, and I'm like, did it? I don't feel, it. Don't get me wrong, it's good, but it's not a patch on the first two. I feel Flo is deserving, Kensuke is. Piece by Piece is maybe questionable, because I don't know how many kids were interested in that, especially because it barely played in cinemas.
Didn't last year either, honestly.
Spellbound did well. That Christmas, which I guess is Netflix, so it never really got a release. Wallace and Gromit was fit. Young Woman in the Sea is interesting. I don't know how family friendly. Well, not family friendly, but I wouldn't see that as a family film, but it seems like a lock for at least the two that are carrying over from animation, though. Dear Lord, casting likes the first 5 letters of the alphabet. I'm amazed the amount of love Back to Black has got in a lot of the categories.
Such a wasted spot.
Case in point, I might as well mention this now, even though we'll bring it up again in a week or so.
Here we go.
The Rising Star nominations did come out, and speaking of Back to Black, Marissa Abella is nominated, along with Jarrell Jerome, predominantly for Unstoppable. That was Jarrell's big film of the year. David Johnson for Alien Romulus. Mikey Madison for Honora. And Naban Rizwan for In Camera. So, that's an intriguing list, because, again, considering who votes for that, i.e. the public, I don't know where that's going.
It is I know we usually run into this, but it is interesting that Jarrell Jerome is here, considering he's had Moonlight, he's had When They See Us. Was that the miniseries that David DuVernay did?
Mm-hmm.
And the one where he's like gigantic. He's had like a lot of pretty high profile projects for the last 8 or 9 years. But I feel like usually there's at least one person here where it's like they've been here for quite a while.
Yeah.
Because really, Mikey Madison's been around for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's already fucking over 5 years old, or 5.5 years old now. But I guess you could. I guess Rising for her, that seems accurate. But I would have told you. Jarrell Jerome's already here, but maybe that's just me.
Yeah. It depends how it goes. Then just having a quick look. We'll obviously go by the British short film and short animation. Although I will note, Wander to Wander, I think, is the only one out of everything in those lists that matches up with Oscar's shortlist. Then again, knowing the history of that doesn't always mean it makes the actual Oscar nomination. So
I was trying to remember.
Probably means it might win, because it's like, please, Oscars.
I was trying to remember if it was Annie or something else. I feel like I've seen Wander to Wander somewhere else too. Was it Annie? Maybe.
Let me double check.
I don't even check those nominations.
Animated short subject. Yeah, animated short subject. Yeah, it made it in there as well.
So at this rate, it'd be pretty shocking if Wander to Wander missed the Oscar nomination. I would think, but
then again, because it's considered a special production, Mog's Christmas also did get an Annie nomination, so that will probably show up in BAFTA as well. That's 2 of your 3 confirmed. Probably. For animated, it's a shame that Moana 2 made it in here. And I'm kind of not surprised, considering it's a long list, that Despicable Me 4 makes it in. And I guess Mufasa is not animated, even though it blatantly is.
What is that Christmas?
Yeah. I want to say Vermilio didn't make it in for Best Film Not in the English Language, but then again, I don't know whether that's releasing over here in time for that, but the usual suspects of All We Imagine Is Light and Amelia Perez and Flo and Girl with a Needle and I'm Still Here and Seed of the Sacred Fig and Kneecap are in here, so Be interesting to see which ones get left out and whatever. If some of the others make it in, that'll be interesting as well. Interesting mix with editing. Some more kneecap love and random Civil War showing. Somebody acknowledges that Civil War existed. There we go. Oh, and Joker got acknowledged for makeup and hair. I guess that's always the opportunity, isn't it? Suicide Squad did it. I mean, okay, it won, but I just wonder whether Joker might make it in for makeup and hair, and everyone's going, but the rest of the film's crap. They put on the poster Oscar winner and just in tiny bloody text that's like 2 points big goes makeup and hair.
Did it make the Oscar shortlist?
Yeah, I think. Did they shortlist makeup and hair?
No, it's not. It's not at the Oscar shortlist.
No. Oh no, it isn't. So. Then again, there
Yeah,
was a weird thing that Waltzing with Brando wasn't eligible for Best Picture, and I'm like, okay. It was a bit random. The usual ones for costume design as well. Getting in there. I don't think there's anything that sort of stands out there. I guess Blitz getting a lot of stuff, but again, the British queue there. Visual effects. That's pretty similar to the list that we've got. Maybe bar. Did Substance make it in for VFX with the shortlist? Trying to remember.
It might have missed there. I think I remember that being a talking point when we did it.
Yeah, because Alien, Romulus, and Better Man and Civil War. Yeah, relatively the same, but. And then. The amount of things that I see in production, well, the amount of ones that just carrying over and like losing track of which categories they are because they're so similar. Like there's Wicked again, there's The Substance again, there's Gladiator again, there's Dune again, there's Conclave again. A lot of carrying over. Blitz and the Outrun, to be honest, making the shortlist for score is interesting. Also, not to piss off Elton John and also AJ, no challenges in there.
Yeah, that's.
Then again, hang on, is challenges even actually anywhere? Oh no, it's in screenplay, so it was eligible. It's like
it's in editing too.
Yeah. I'm not, having seen it, I'm not surprised that Made in England Films of Powell and Pressburger makes it in for documentary. No Other Land's the interesting one, because that's obviously the Michael Moore-backed Palestinian one that obviously is getting attention because of the everything that's happening. But it's a relatively strong list. And then, of course, there's Superman, the Christopher Reeve story that didn't even make the shortlist.
For no reason.
There it is. Decent list for outstanding British film. Back to Blackbird, Blitz, Civil War, Conclave, Gladiator 2, Hard Truths, Kneecap, Lee, Love Lies Bleeding.
Heck yeah.
British?
What's up in general with how much Lee is here?
Yeah, I'm seeing that.
There's a lot of Lee in these long lists.
Sky is going to be fucking excited because usually Sky put on, rubbish. Sky Cinema, what they pick up. So the fact that they've got something that's getting actually a lot of recognition is interesting.
Go ahead. The fact that Bird's here is good.
Mm-hmm.
And I like seeing Wicked Little Letters here too.
Yeah,
even for the short.
Was really early in the year. I think it was like February for us. So it was.
Yep.
The fact that it's held in and at least made it to the 15 is pretty good.
Another shout to We Live in Time as well.
I think gets cropped down to 10 from what I remember.
Sounds right.
So 5.
I was just about to bring that up. I think yeah.
Then, yeah, the three that stand out at least with debut is Monkey Man, Dev
Yes.
Patel's things, Kneecap, because Kneecap. And
Yes.
then the one that like seems to be doing all the attention and people are confused about it, Grand Theft Hamlet. Because people think it's just people are making Hamlet in Grand Theft Auto, but it's like a documentary about how they tried to make it, but filmed in sort of real time when they were making it. So it's a weird concept, but it's doing the traction at least. It says a lot that it's doing the sort of not festival circuit, but it's doing the rounds trying to get the buzz over here, just how films in America would for the Oscars. So it's weird seeing that carrying over.
And Sandosh is here, which is shortlisted for foreign or international at the Oscars.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say there's anything amiss with the cinematography long list. Civil War, I guess, is maybe the surprise there. Mainly because Civil War got ignored by a lot of things.
It belongs there.
Yeah. Outrun making it into the adapted 10, which is interesting. And they did recognize The Apprentice for original screenplay as well.
Excellent.
Which is interesting. Then, yeah, when we get to the acting ones, they have not 2, but 3 people from Amelia Perez. Because Adriana Paz is added in. But, yeah. And Jamie Lee Curtis for Last Shogun. Okay. Wait. How? But it's releasing after the window. Huh? Have we changed the rules again? What the fuck?
It is worth noting that the whole thing that Jamie Lee Curtis is here and Pamela Anderson isn't.
That is strange.
Is like the story to take away, I think.
Yeah, Emily Watson getting recognised for small things like these as well. Interesting. And Michelle Austin for Hard Truths. There are other people, not just Marianne Jean-Baptiste.
She just was that National Society Film Critics that Michelle Austin just won. That's a pretty big. That's like one of the 3 core critics awards.
I'm excited to see that movie next week.
Harris Dickinson making it into the supporting 10, along with Jeremy Strong, and also the other one from Minora that isn't Borisov. The other part of sort of the freeway relationship that is the part of that is it's like he didn't exist. Whether he makes it in the 5, I don't know. But, yeah, Marisa Abella for Back to Black for actress. I'm like, I mean, I guess because she did a good performance. It's just the problem is when it's somebody like Amy Winehouse and you don't sound enough alike, it sort of really distracts people.
It's the same thing I thought about One Love. I just didn't like either one of them.
Which makes it in as well. Which is, again, another irony because that also was a February thing. Although Jude Law making it in for Firebrand and Dev Patel for Monkey Man. Okay.
I support Dev Patel getting in. I've always supported Dev Patel.
And then they went with Stan for The Apprentice rather than a different man. But then again, I guess Apprentice did sort of have way more of a push here than it ever had the chance to in America. So
the Apprentice did so well on the long list. I'm kind of surprised it's not in director.
It could be. It could have been.
But Lee is.
Yeah.
and from out of nowhere, La Chimera. So we've got another foreign language contender there that isn't Amelia Perez. or All We Imagine Is Light, which have sort of been the two that have stood out as being the contenders.
Yeah, Kapadia is getting in for that sixth slot, but that's what he's kind of going for.
And the fact that Kneecap made it into the 10 for film, I think means it's got a good chance at least with British film.
I would love
I
that.
doubt it would double up and get also recognised best film outright. I can't wait for one that, you know, if they just go straight to The Apprentice as the first nominee from that list, AJ might be pleased. I'm trying to work out where they're going to go with that, because they might have, Wicked might have enough momentum. Dune, I think, might fall by. Conclave will probably make it in. Brutalist will have enough, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see where that goes next Wednesday. I would argue. So yeah, briefly seeing Bry with a few extra things in chat while Owen gets Josie's stuff. Speaking of the Oscars shortlist for animated short, one of the shorts is Me, and that's directed by Don Hertzfeldt, who made 2 previous nominated shorts. Rejected, well known to become a big viral video on YouTube, and its iconic memes, "My spoon is too big" and "I am a banana." And then also World of Tomorrow from 2015, which was frontrunner but lost to Bear Story. And if there was one award show that was going to go all on The Apprentice, is of course BAFTA, because it's the only non-American award show.
There's a British version of The Apprentice.
No, it's just the fact that, like for you guys, it sort of, for a time it was up in the air as to whether it was getting a distributor, but then did, and distributor decided to go relatively hard with it, because I thought it was going to be sort of a 1 week, 2 week run maybe, but my local cinema had it in for, okay, it might have only been 1 showing a day, or 1 showing, or a handful of showings over the course of the week, but it was there for about 6 or 7 weeks. I mean, it's probably helped because it was releasing in about the time in the run up to the election, sort of like September, October-ish, and it stuck around, I think, until maybe Thanksgiving time, like end of November. So it had more hold than I thought it was going to, and it did at least relatively well with the audience. Box office, I'd have to look it up and see where it featured, but yeah.
Okay. So we got a little Josie commentary and some minor questions to us and the show on today. First new watches of the new year: 30 Day Princess from 1934, Genevieve from 1953, Choose Me from 1984, Carry On Camping from 1969, and Carry On Doctor from 1967. Which one of these have you seen?
Choose Me is something that I've needed to see for a long time, but I still haven't yet. That's the one that I'm most, like, zoned in on.
All right. So, interestingly enough, Josie asked if you guys are fans of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
You mean my favorite sitcom of all time, Josie?
Of all time.
Well,
Her mom has been binge watching it lately.
Oh, nice. There was, I think I've mentioned this before. I became a fan of the Fresh Prince, where this must have been in the 2007, 2008 area. I don't know if there was a glitch or a contract thing going on with other shows or what, but there was a whole block that went on for months and months where Nick at Night only played Fresh Prince marathons for nearly a year, if not a year. And so I saw the whole show multiple times, and that's when I just really fell in love with it. I have every DVD season as well, and go back to it. I don't even need to go back to it. All of the episodes are like in my brain forever.
God, the amount of times you've seen Jazzy Jeff yeeted out the house.
Oh my god, I do.
Accurate. So, of course, because it's Josie, we have some trivia. The mascot at Will and Carlton's college is a peacock. Jada tried out. Go ahead, AJ.
I'm assuming because of NBC.
Yeah.
Jada tried out. Yeah, I would say there was the whole Switch thing, but go ahead.
Yeah, Jada tried out for Lisa originally, but was rejected due to a lack of chemistry and their height difference. Will Smith owed money to the IRS, so he had to surrender 70% of his salary for the first 3 seasons to settle his music debts.
I remember when he did Inside the Actors Studio, James Lipton brought it up to him, and his response was, I wasn't evading them, I just wasn't paying them.
Also, what the hell is Will Smith up to? Bloody posting, I'm guessing it was Instagram because it was an image.
The Morpheus thing, yeah.
He's doing something Matrix related.
Yeah. Matrix sense.
That's full circle. That's full circle.
Literally, the image is in sort of, it's not green, it's sort of red, but it's Matrix style text where it basically says, Will Smith turned down the chance to be Neo.
Yep.
And then after that paragraph, it just says, "Wake up, Will." So I don't know what that is alluding to.
Find out soon enough. So Ross Bagley was Will Smith's stepson in Independence Day.
Yes, and was Nikki.
That's who we're referring to.
Yeah. and he's Buckwheat in The Little Rascals, if you didn't recognize him as Nikki.
Yes. Some trivia from Carry On Doctor. Sidney James spent most of his screen time in bed because he suffered a heart attack recently.
Oh.
Majority of the scenes between Joan Sims and Frankie Howard in the private ward had to be shot separately and edited together because Sims could not look at Howard without corpsing. Send for the man. If you know, you know. Kenneth Williams originally turned down the role of Dr. Tinkle, but was given Francis Bigger, found fault with the role, and returned to the Tinkle character. Mr. Wrigley's character is a nod to Claude Rains, of course, the Invisible Man, but he never showed up. However, the identity of the actor playing the character in the film has never been known. As of May 2020, the actor remains unknown, but it can be inferred from the end scenes of the male ward patients out of bed that he may be seen as one of the non-speaking support extras seen without the head bandages. Some Jim Dale trivia. He wrote the lyrics to Georgie Girl by the Seekers and earned an Academy Award nomination for Best Original Song. He performed the unabridged Harry Potter audiobooks, cited twice in Guinness for creating the most character voices in an audiobook, more than 200.
Holy shit.
And voicing the first 6 top-selling audiobooks of all time. 9 audio awards, a true record.
It's interesting that, there are both tellings, Jim's readings of it and Stephen Fry's are very, Jim way more because he really sort of does more of the obvious voice changes, but Stephen, because he gets sort of maybe the woman's narration, because I don't want to mention her by name because of her views on various things.
Yeah. The Just Jim Dale one-man show, looking back over 60 years in show business, opened in May 15th, 2014 at the Roundabout Theater Company, Laura Pell's Theater, winning Dale his 5th Outer Critics Circle Award and his 5th Drama Desk Award. He did all his stunts on Carry On Doctor, including the trolley ride down the stairs and through a window, despite a stuntman being on standby. And he is as of 2024, the last surviving regular recurring cast member on the Carry On film series.
Which makes sense because practically half the people that were in those films were in their 40s or 50s at that time, so it would make sense.
Carry on camping trivia. Betty Marsden said during filming to Dilly's Lay that she always wanted to die with a glass of gin in her hand. In Denville Hall, home for old actors, this is exactly what happened. After she arrived there in July 1998, collapsed and died at the Holmes bar while drinking gin and smoking a cigarette.
Oh, yeah.
Filmed during a rainy autumn that produced loads of mud, this can be frequently seen throughout the film, including people sinking and slipping. To hide the mud, green paint was used. The leaves were spray painted. The bra flying scene with Babs and the girls doing the exercises caused problems for Barbara Windsor. Her bra was connected to a fishing line, and an old stagehand was to pull it off at a given time, but he pulled her into the mud instead. She was determined to keep covered up at all costs, but then Kenneth Williams says, "Matron, take them away." So Matron grabs their arm, uncovering her for all to see. And the yell she lets out is totally real. The nudie.
I also noticed with Jim Dale, to bring it back to BAFTA, his first sort of films, well, he did God knows how many carry-ons from like the early to mid-60s, but it was only when he played Spike Milligan in Adolf Hitler, My Part in His Downfall in 1973 did BAFTA nominate him for Most Promising Newcomer to Leading Film Roles. After 12 years.
So the nudie film that Sid and Bernie take Joan and Anthony to see is Nature's Paradise. The film included temporary inserts of a topless Gilly Grant. The first instance of full topless female nudity in the Carry On series. Interesting. Followed later on in the film by the more famous scene where Barbara Windsor accidentally flings off her bikini top and exposes herself. Premiered in Hull, England, people were literally queuing around the block to see it. The highest grossing film in the United Kingdom in 1969. Carry On Up the Khyber was the second grossing film of that year. And regular Hattie Jacques, take a shot, close enough, is well known in the series for portraying the matron in the medical installments such as Carry On Nurse, Carry On Doctor, Carry On Matron, and Carry On Again Doctor. In this film, they portrayed a school matron who formerly worked as a matron at a hospital. Never been officially confirmed how many of the other matrons are actually standalone roles or the character at different times in her career. The first line is Carry On Girls, actually the name of another Carry On movie. So we have Genevieve trivia. And we have some questions after that, despite being one of the...
We might want to... Did you want to do the questions and then come back to the trivia in case I have to leave in like 5 minutes?
Yeah, that's fine. Oh, God. Hold on. Did you ever have the books or watch the show Magic School Bus?
We watched the show in school. I didn't have the... I don't think I had the books. I don't think so.
I remember watching the show. I was more of an Arthur guy myself.
It was the dude taking his helmet off on Pluto that is forever etched in my memory.
Nice. Imagine if the Magic School Bus went inside the bodies of Elizabeth Sparkle. What would happen?
Oh my God. At which particular state are we talking?
That is a nightmare that even David Lynch couldn't recreate. What other countries would you want to see Kieran Culkin and Jesse Eisenberg travel to? Amsterdam? I feel like it writes itself.
Yeah. I mean, it'd pretty much be the same movie.
Yes. But more up front.
And minus the tour.
Yes.
That particular tour.
There'd be a lot of tours with curtains being pulled down very slowly. And a lot more Nate Webb drugs. I'd love to see Jesse Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin visit a Margaritaville.
It would be interesting to see Benji in a place that's not actively making him manic. Like if he's more... I don't know what the sensitive way to put it would be. if he's just more calm in another. I mean, obviously he's erratic like all the time. But if he's not in a place that's really amping up his emotions, like when they were on the train and stuff.
I think the giant blender that mixes the margaritas in Margaritaville would cause a tremendous meltdown, and I think it'd be absolutely hilarious for any of the wait staff that they encountered. I want this to happen now. I think that might be. Looking. Oh, my dad. I'm trying to get the trivia off so I can go to questions real quick. Interesting. I'm trying to find things that are questions. Nope. They're all comments and trivia.
Okay. I really want to hear those, Josie, but also this side of my head is on fire. So I think I am going to sign off, but we're probably going to be right back, right?
Sunday night.
Sunday to react to the Critic's Choice.
So Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, if I remember correctly.
Sunday is the reaction to the Critic's Choice, and then Monday is the Guild discussion.
Guild discussion, yeah.
And Tuesday is our final Oscar predictions before Friday's show.
All right. And then Friday is nominations day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, next Friday is nominations day, is correct.
And we are bookending Friday with videos, is what it sounds like.
We will be opening the day with the 3 videos. God hope that it doesn't take forever for me to upload them, because I'll be probably uploading them from Disney Springs, and which means you'll probably not get it for like 3 days after that. But I can assure you it'll be live. And that night, when I get back from the theater from Hard Truce and the room next door, we will go live sometime in the 6, 7, 8 o'clock range. We'll figure it out then.
All right, then I will see all of you Sunday.
No problem, AJ.
Go better, sir.
All right.
Genevieve trivia. Despite being one of Britain's most well-loved films, this was apparently hell to make. The director, Henry Cornelius, was vetoed on most of his first choices. Dirk Bogarde turned him down, as did Claire Bloom. He was forced to make it at the studios he didn't want to work at. The displeasure was acutely felt by cast and crew, as he didn't hide how unhappy he was. Also, apparently, he was quite lecherous. Both Dinah Sheridan and Kay Kendall carried whistles on them at all times, in case they ever found themselves alone with him. Well, that makes sense. Olive Dodds, ranks head of contract artists, later testified that every leading cast member came to her at one point and they said they wanted off the film. It had censorship problems in the U.S. because of the implication that weekends of illicit sex, and because of the moment when Wendy asked for a coin so she can spend a penny, references to toilets were specifically taboo in U.S. films at that time. John Gregson, the owner of Genevieve, couldn't actually drive, and Genevieve was also the name of the car driven by character Jenny McMillan, played by Chick Chandler in Seven Doors to Death. When Alan and Wendy break down, spill the coffee, and provide entertainment for a newsreel camera, they're passed by a friendly couple in a 1904 Oldsmobile Roadster, a registration A8829. According to a stock photograph from 1966, Dinah Sheridan drove this very car during her first real-life participation in the London to Brighton rally 13 years after the film was made. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Conclave trivia. This is Carlos Dietz's first major film experience. He was an architect till 2020. His last child left home, and he decided to take online acting classes. Conclave is derived from a Latin meaning of a place that can be locked up, or come together, and clavis, so together in key. In the novel, Cardinal Benitez is a Filipino and from the Archdiocese of Baghdad, not Kabul. Some random thoughts. Magic School Bus visiting the Vatican would be interesting. Sister Frizzle. I would love to see the Magic School Bus visit Arrakis. Imagine if they made a Brutalist I Spy book with all of Adrian Brody's characters' pieces of architecture. I'll know Friday what that means. For that matter, the Magic School Bus witnessing and learning all about the Brutalist architecture would be fascinating. Yeah, I'm kind of nervous about some of those scenes I heard about, by the way, Josie. Kieran Culkin got kicked out of Miss Frizzle's class for being a lousy student. That checks out. a flow theme park boat ride would be interesting. The gift shop would sell plushies of the animals. Yes, it would. I'd recommend a SeaWorld flow ride. That'd be great. Would it be cool if Universal had a Wicked Pavilion with a bookstore with a circular revolving shelf similar to the one Jonathan Bailey rides in? Do you approve of this idea? Yeah, I do, because we're making a lot of money with Wicked, and we already have a Wicked experience. And Universal Parks worldwide are doing Wicked experiences as well, with actual real life props and costumes from the movie and set pieces from the movie as well. As a matter of fact, in Japan, they've actually turned their New York section into the Emerald City. And there could potentially be more theme park connections on the horizon, and there should be, because the last time we had Wicked interaction in the theme parks didn't really go over very well. So I think this year it'd be a little different. There's a series of books featuring a character named Private where letters and numbers interact. Tara Laser is the author. The first book, 789, The Untold Story. Goodreads summary. Everyone knows 7 is always after him. Word on the street, 789. Well, if that's true, 6's days are numbered. But lucky for him, Private Eye is on the case. But the facts just don't add up. It's odd. Will Private Eye put 2 and 2 together and solve the problem? Or 6 next in line to be subtracted? Dear God. And the second book is The Uppercase, Trouble in Capital City, when Private Eye thinks that all is calm. Now he's cracked the case of 789. Question mark storms into the office. Mark is worried. All the uppercase letters are MISSING, but that's absurd. This is Capital City. Private Eye is the last letter standing. Will he solve his biggest mystery yet? The uppercase? Before it's too late? Filled with the same humor, wit, and quirkiness of the hit 789, The Untold Story, comes another laugh out loud whodunit. What's funny is that Private Eye's love interest is the letter B. And yesterday in the children's room at work, Josie read Vam Penguin by Lucy Roos Cummins, the Google Amazon summary on a Saturday morning. Baby Dracula visits the zoo with his family. Baby Penguin lives with hers. These intrepid young adventurers are not content staying in their proper places. Baby Dracula slips into the penguin house to spend the day eating, swimming, and hanging around, but Baby Penguin waddles into the stroller to explore the rest of the zoo. Dracula's family doesn't even notice the switch. Will they bring the right baby home? Imagine Robert Eggers adapting this. I like that concept, Josie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a Robert Eggers guy. I think I realize that. But I'm okay with Dracula and a penguin getting together and exploring the world. Make this happen. Someone. So, Brian gets the last word. If there was one award, take a shot. Good job, Brian. So that's the show.
Oh,
thank you, Josie.
DGA put out their documentary stuff today, but I noticed in the comedy series category, nominated for directing is Ayo Edebiri. So
Nice.
I guess that makes up for some of the things that she's missed out on. She gets a DGA nod.
We'll talk about that later. So, thank you, Josie. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Smurfy Boy. Thank you, Kevin Davis. And also, thanks to anybody that was lurking. Spencer, I'm sure, want to thank you as well. When if you didn't show up live, I know you'll be here in archive. And everyone that checks out our, like Mr. Top Hat, and everyone that usually checks out our content, hopefully you'll return when we are back here Sunday night to talk the Critics' Choice. We'll see how that's going to go. Monday, we're talking the guilds. And it's basically we're reacting to the nominations of all the guilds. So that's going to be fun. And then Tuesday, the day you've all been waiting for, our Big 8 categories now switched to the entire thing. We're going to try to predict every single one of the Oscar-nominated categories. And on Friday morning, you'll get 3 separate videos, like always, to determine what our reactions to said nominations. And like I mentioned before, after I get home from Hard Truce in the room next door on Friday night, we'll be here live somewhere between the 6 and 8 o'clock time frame to talk all things about the actual Oscar nominations. And then we get a break. Nice little break ski until the end of the month, when we get to try to work on the guilds, and we move on to BAFTA and all points in between. Mm-hmm. So AJ will be back with you on Sunday. Obviously, AJ was feeling a little under the weather, but hopefully he gets better very soon and he'll be 100% ready to roll on Sunday. Let's hope that Critic's Choice does not make stupid mistakes. AJ would lose points, but he needs to worry about his sanity more than points. That being said, he'll be back with If very soon and other reviews versus and other segments on the network in the very near future. If you saw it in 2024, chances are it'll return in 2025. Ashley can be found on Twitter at AshIsMyNameUK, and you also get more snack stashes and Gaming with Ash, more content from Ashley coming in the near future. I've got plenty of content you haven't seen yet, and there's a reason for that because I'm lazy. And needless to say, there will be more stuff that's going to be coming from me in the future too, which you can follow me along on Twitter at SirOwenDisney. That being said, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching, whether live or in archive, and in a world where there are a billion people trying to predict any and every category of any and every award show, thank you for, instead of choosing a podcast, thank you for choosing a Popcast tonight. Well, thank you guys and girls out there for watching. And until next time, boys and girls, watch the substance. And that's all we got to say about that.
Pretty much on the frame.